Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This is going to be another episode of Reforge Gaming News, and we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to cover multiple topics, Halo Infinite Season 2 details, as well as some tweets from Joseph Staten. What do those tweets mean? We'll also be looking at the announcements and the release of the Metroid Dread Boss Rush. What do you think? Is this enough to make you maybe come back to Metroid Dread? It was maybe a little too tough for some people and very different than what they were expecting. Lastly, Returnal finally wins a Game of the Year award, and I'm extremely excited, and I'm going to talk about why I think it took this long. We'll be breaking all that down in this episode. I'm going to bring everybody over from this morning's stream. We talked about the Max Payne remakes and whether or not people were interested in them, or are they worried that we're getting too many remakes. And so we'll be breaking that down in that VOD if you missed it and want to hear my discussion with the audience about it. So if you're here right now in the live audience, we'll have a poll momentarily to gauge interest in the multiple topics that we have. You know, is there something that you want to debate me on or dispute that I'm saying? So let's just break it down. First and foremost, let's talk about Halo Infinite Season 2. According to PC Gamer, Season 2 will arrive on May the 3rd and is called Lone Wolves. It will add new maps, including what looks like a new big team battle map, and a giant laser in the middle, new modes, limited time events, and the Battle Pass refresh. Okay, many were thinking and have been saying that they don't find this to be all that exciting, given some of the more recent and disappointing news about the game and about things that will be continually lacking or showing up very late. The co-op campaign will be showing up later in Season 2, if at all. I have my doubts that it will be happening. There is also the concern over the lack of Forge, okay? Now, with Season 2 on the horizon, though, there's been a lot of dispute, debate, and leaks and theories about how they're going to get people excited, and some are thinking that a Battle Royale could be coming. Now, Joseph Staten replied to the Halo Infinite Season 2 trailer that was on Twitter. So he replies to the tweet and he says, "By the way, this is a teaser trailer, more to come throughout the month. Buckle up, Spartans." He then replies again and says, "Also, what's up with that dust storm? It looks angry." So he's drawing attention to the dust storm for some reason. Now, is this a hint about the campaign? Could this be a Battle Royale hint? They already have a shrinking zone mechanic in the attrition game mode that they released temporarily for a while. Many people thought, that is something that could work very well in a Battle Royale, but a dust storm could also work for a Battle Royale, as opposed to having a shrinking storm or the shrinking sort of gas in Call of Duty Warzone. Halo Infinite Battle Royale could use some type of a dust storm. So we don't know. More details will be forthcoming in April, and we will cover that. We want to know what you think. Are you excited about Season 2? Are you worried about the game? We recently did an episode about Halo Infinite Battle Royale and how I don't think it's enough to save the game. They got to get the basics right first before they start focusing on something so significantly different for themselves, which would be Battle Royale. In other news, Metroid released a boss rush for Metroid Dread. We pulled this from Game Informer. Nintendo just added a new Dread mode, to Dread, and they also added a rookie mode. A Dread mode and a rookie mode to Metroid Dread last month. So that's like a difficulty thing. So if you want to up the difficulty, you can play the Dread mode or you can play the rookie mode. Now, alongside of this, a boss rush mode was added with the April update. That update is now live, and it brings not just one boss rush mode, but 3. Okay, now we've got details on the 3 different ones that they have. They have Boss Rush, Survival Rush, and Dread Rush. They also added a practice mode that lets you practice battles against the many bosses found throughout Samus's latest journey. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. Boss Rush is unlocked after actually completing Metroid Dread, and it will task you with taking on each boss one by one. At the end of each battle, missiles will be restored, but any damage you've taken will be carried over into the next fight. However, each battle adds to the player's max missile count, energy tank, and power bombs, depending on where the boss fight takes place. So almost like a little bit of a rogue element to it. You're not getting random items, but you are getting stronger as you progress, but the damage you take carries over, adding to that sort of survival rogue feeling, as well as the loop and needing to go back. Now, Survival Rush, you have to complete Boss Rush, and in Survival Rush, you are tasked with defeating as many bosses as possible before a timer runs out. Each boss you defeat adds more time to your timer clock, and if you're able to defeat a boss without taking damage, you'll get additional time too. In this mode, missiles and health do not recover between bosses. Dread Rush, if you want to unlock this, you have to complete Dread Mode, which was added to the game in the February update. Dread Mode is the most hardcore of players. That's who it's for. And in Dread Rush, you will take on a gauntlet of 12 bosses without stopping, one right after the other. Like in Dread Mode, if you take a single hit in Dread Rush, you will instantly die. Missiles, however, are fully recovered after each boss. So this is for the hardest of the hardest core players. If you're wanting to play that element in Metroid Dread, you're going to have to beat the whole game on Dread Mode first, right? Then there's Practice Mode, so you can train and practice if you would like. So check that out if you haven't checked it out yet. I kind of fell out of love pretty quickly with Metroid Dread. It was very different from what I was expecting. I still think it's a great game and worthy of praise. It's won awards and had a lot of people say that it's a great game, but it's just not necessarily one that I enjoyed. Lastly, Returnal has won Game of the Year, finally, from the BAFTAs, which is the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, and it's one of the oldest award ceremonies in entertainment. And the Gaming BAFTAs have now concluded, with Returnal sweeping the event, okay? And I've got a theory as to why this happened. It was first founded in 2004, and BAFTA Games celebrated its 18th annual ceremony, with Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart getting awarded for animation. Artful Escape won something for artistic achievement. But Returnal walked away with 4 awards. Number 1, Audio Achievement. Number 2, for Music. And Jane Perry for Performer in a Leading Role won. And then Returnal won Best Game. It won Game of the Year. Now, why did it take so long for somebody to realize the excellence of this game? I actually changed my vote about what I thought Game of the Year was for 2021, and it's related to my theory as to why it took this long for this game to be as recognized as it just recently was. I believe enough time has passed and enough people can view the game from a larger scope of experience, right? Once I actually did a complete full run of the game and heard the music and saw the story elements and experienced the game in a fuller way, it was undeniable that this game deserved to be recognized for being ambitious. It pioneered a new genre. It was beautifully crafted. The music, the dialogue, the voice acting, the combat, all fresh and excellently executed. Far and away one of the few next-gen games to even launch in 2021, so in the grand scheme of video game evolution, I believe it stands apart. I believe it stands on the front of the wave, okay? Once the full scope of the game has been properly judged, you can't deny the greatness compared to everything it was competing against, okay? The fact that Deathloop got so many nominations at the Game Awards is laughable when you actually consider the quality of Returnal in comparison. Now, I think this exposes a problem with game review culture, okay? When a new and unique and challenging game launches, game review culture isn't going to necessarily give it a full scope treatment. It's not going to actually judge the entire package because they're trying to get through the game as quickly as possible. This has actually affected recent reviews. We were at a review once where the person played the game on easy and they said they didn't feel like they had to use any of the other weapons, which wasn't surprising because you played it on easy. So I believe game review culture played a part in Returnal not getting the recognition that it deserved. I believed this is somewhat related to the remake discussion. I believe remakes are getting sort of dialed in and taking over and becoming more prominent both in film and in games because publishers and developers are risk averse, and communities and gamers tend to be, especially review outlets, they tend to be a little bit more critical of new IPs, which it should be the opposite. A new IP should be given a significant more amount of credence and praise and time because it's brand new, ambitious, and more challenging. So those are sort of our three lead stories that are now giving us sort of what we can talk about. So I want to ask you guys, weigh in. What do you think about everything I've said? What interests you most from the topics? All right, we've got Halo Infinite Season 2. We have Metroid Dread Boss Rush, and we have Returnal Game of the Year debate, right? There you go. Out of those three, which interests you the most? Do me a favor, new stream, new likes. Make sure you're on live chat, smash the like button. We're trying something new with Triple Topic to see how the audience responds and how YouTube responds. If you like this, make sure and smash the like button and get the chat rolling so we get a sense of your response. If you're not a fan of this, then obviously don't make us think that you are. How Ratchet & Clank lost for family game to some game I never heard blows my mind. I can't trust BAFTA. What won family game of the year? Ratchet ain't that great. We know why Mo thinks that. He hasn't played it. Next Gen doesn't make it game of the year, but I get your passion. I think the next gen element had to be considered last year specifically because of it was very brave and ambitious to be one of the first couple of games to do it, right? If you're one of the first games to start working with the new dev kits, the new tools, the new tech, and you throw your game out there on the forefront, I think that deserves to be considered. And the fact that they did it and did it in an they did it amazingly, that should be considered in the Game of the Year contention. That should be a part of the equation. Halo is so funny. I'm here because I heard you said you were going to be talking about Halo when it was so crap Season 1. It can only get better, right? Halo Season 2 and Game of the Year is the same discussion, surely. 10 out of 10. Ratchet is Ratchet. It was the same as the last one. Asterisk, said by someone who hasn't played it. Listen, anytime I've critiqued Psychonauts 2, I've never said it was the exact same as the last one because I didn't play it to completion, which would be an unfair judgment. But I did say that I didn't see anything graphically impressive or ambitious within the next-gen landscape to make Psychonauts 2 worthy of much praise. Psychonauts 2 hasn't made a blip of noise outside of American-run award ceremonies, which is not surprising given Microsoft's sway over the American review public. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as you leave the American press and the American gaming, award ceremony, suddenly Psychonauts 2 doesn't get a whole lot of attention. There's a reason for that. I think Microsoft held sway. Where's Deathloop, by the way? Where's Deathloop and Psychonauts the minute you leave American gaming press and the minute you leave American gaming, award ceremonies? Because they're not concerned with, stroking Microsoft's ego. Where are those games? They don't get nearly as much presence and credence outside of those venues. As someone who has played those games since the beginning, it was not the same. Yeah, there were significant things done in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart that was not just another Ratchet game. Fuzzy says, I did not like Metroid Dread at all. I had expected to, as had fond memories of Metroid growing up, even though the LED just to play it, but I bounced off it hard and did not enjoy it. I should revisit it, I guess. Brother, I'm telling you, it's a very tough game to love. They make Metroid Dread tough to love unless it's what you were specifically looking for. Like, if you were specifically looking for that type of a Metroid, then it's tough to love. It is. I almost cried when I got Deathloop. I stupidly went in blind. What do you mean by you almost cried? What's going on in here? What's good? We are talking about Halo Infinite Season 2, Metroid Dread Boss Rush, and Returnal Game of the Year. It swept the BAFTAs with 4 awards. You know, times are tough. They couldn't afford to buy those awards too. Said by most that have played it, that's not true. No, the reviews of Ratchet and Clank do not reflect that. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is not reflected by the reviews at all. It's reflected by the people who haven't played it. Like, the consistent rejection and dismissal of Ratchet and Clank is almost always by a Microsoft fanboy that hasn't touched the dadgum game. Similarly with Returnal, a quick dismissal of Returnal from people that have never touched it, right? Like, your opinion on the matter holds no weight if you haven't even played the games. Deathloop sold very well in France where it was made. Yeah, but it didn't get a presence in any of these award ceremonies. It didn't deserve the presence it got in the Game Awards. It got darling treatment at the Game Awards and barely walked away with any awards. Big Metroid fan says, Swade, the combat took a while to embrace. If you're expecting Super Metroid, it's not the same. That's what I was wanting. I was wanting a Metroidvania. Like, that's what I wanted. I wanted a brilliant Metroid game that was Metroidvania. Like, I wanted Ori and the Will of the Wisps and Hollow Knight, and I didn't get it. And that doesn't mean the game is bad, but that's why I didn't enjoy it. Like, the reason I didn't enjoy it is certainly personal and subjective, but I think a lot of people went into Metroid Dread with similar thoughts, and they didn't realize that that's what they were getting. You know, it doesn't make the game bad, but it certainly is why some people just didn't like it. I watched folks that played it and didn't see anything different from the last one. Like, Mo, you know I love you, but you haven't played the game, so I'm kind of done engaging the topic. If you haven't played the games, any of the Ratchet games, then I don't really care what you observed. That would be like me going and observing Final Fantasy games and being like, I don't see any difference, right? Because it obviously is easy to say that from the armchair. You're not playing it. It was more linear than I expected. I think they catered to the speedrunners a lot. Well, even the updates are catering to the speedrunners, it seems. Since no one else will see the good in Deathloop, I will. We have a much better show this year, thanks to the check they cut in Game Awards. Psychonauts wins 2 Game of the Year at the New York Game Awards. Right, an American-based Game Awards. Like, where is Psychonauts 2's presence outside of the West? Any Game Awards ceremony outside the West would be my question. The Metroid game was linear. Interesting. No, so when I said what I said, don't hear me say that it's linear. There were still retreading elements of Metroid Dread. So it still honors the, or it still would be classified as a Metroidvania. There were elements of like stealth, sneak, and like fear and creepiness that I felt made the game extremely unenjoyable and halting. It created a flat tire effect in Metroid Dread that I found to be incredibly unenjoyable. It made it seem... Now, I think it worked, right? I think it worked. It just, if you weren't expecting it, it was really frustrating. That was the issue. I was telling Lono not to generalize us, Mo, not you. What did I generalize? I'm a Microsoft fanboy and I love Ratchet and Clank. Let's not generalize so heavy. I was just saying the people that I noticed dismissing Returnal and Ratchet have 2 things in common. They haven't even played the dadgum games and they're fans of Microsoft. Like, those 2 things make your opinion on the matter so irrelevant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't even own the console and I've never played the games, being like, looks like more of the same is such an irrelevant opinion. Like, it doesn't have any relevancy whatsoever. It's like, you haven't played them. Like, it's fine for you to say, I'm not interested because it looks like more of the same, but you can utter not a single word of judgment about the game's quality. You can't say a word about the game's quality because you haven't played it. If you haven't played Returnal or any of the Ratchets, talking about their quality doesn't make any sense. Oh, I looked at the pictures of the restaurant. The food, there's no way that food's any good. Okay, that can be a reason you didn't go in, but you couldn't tell somebody that the food in the restaurant's bad if you haven't gone in and eaten the food. I know someone who dismissed Ratchet and Returnal, was his game of the year. Okay, I know plenty of people who think the otherwise. That doesn't mean anything. What I'm saying is if you haven't played the game, speaking about the game's quality is silly. It doesn't make any sense to speak about a game's quality when you haven't touched it. It truly makes no sense. It's nonsensical. You haven't played the game, right? Like, I played Halo Infinite's campaign. I played Halo Infinite's multiplayer. I can speak to the game's quality, right? I played Psychonauts 2. I can speak to the game's quality in the next-gen landscape, which is how I always limit myself. Anytime I talked about Psychonauts 2, I never talked about the game in its totality. I never talked about the game's story. I even said, I bet the game's story is good from everything I've read, but within the realm of next gen, I don't think Psychonauts 2 deserved any praise. We should have been focusing on next gen games last year that achieved greatness. This is why Ratchet & Clank, It Takes Two, and Returnal deserved the much better treatment, because in the grand scheme of the evolution of games, they stepped up to the plate first, and they did an excellent job. That should be considered. Speaking of just another, look at the graphical prowess and fidelity of Psychonauts 2. It's another Psychonauts. That's not a slam, but you didn't step up to the next gen plate and do anything. And in 2021, that should have been a theme of the awards and the recognition. This is why the BAFTAs giving Returnal 4 awards, it deserves it. Why? They're judging the game in its totality. Review culture hurt Returnal. Without a shadow of doubt in my mind, the review culture, especially in Western American game review culture, hurt Returnal. Why? Because people couldn't beat it. They couldn't get very far. These are the same review outlets that play a game on easy and then say they didn't feel like they had to use all of the weapons. Who is shocked by that? You played the game on easy. So the play the game on easy review culture in America absolutely shortchanged Returnal, which affected its awards in the American award ceremonies. The minute it's outside of America, all of a sudden it does a sweep and pulls 4 awards? Come on. That's not a coincidence. And it lines up with my own judgment of the game. My own judgment of Returnal changed when it got to cook longer and I got further in the game. Let's concede more of the same. It's more of the same of a multi-decade franchise, one of their top 3 sellers. Now it's taking a technological leap forward. So if that's more of the same, sign me up. Right. They took an established franchise and put it up to bat and said, we're going to set you up to you're going to bat at next gen, Ratchet. Returnal, same thing. We're putting you up to the plate before anybody else steps up here and does it. And they absolutely nailed it. Returnal is, I'm telling you, it is a 5 out of 5. It is a top shelf game, and they did it. They're one of the first games to be like, here we are. Here is what next gen can do. Here's haptic feedback. Here's 3D audio. Here's creative game design. A third person action adventure bullet hell rogue. Like, what the huh? Imagine pitching that to somebody. Imagine me, of all people, defending a rogue so ardently. Mr. Anti-Rogue. Returnal merged an arcade shooter into a fully playable 3D story-driven game. Yeah, the voice acting and the sound and the dialogue and the music alone. Oh my word. Returnal is at a level that so few games hit. That's why I so strongly defend it. Is your thumbnail moving or am I tripping? Moving? They've not launched animated thumbnails that I know of. No, my thumbnail's not moving. Do you think Returnal's coming to PC? Oh, they could definitely bring it because haptic feedback is possible on PC. There was a game that did it. Atmos has been around for a while. You know that, right? We've done this before. You can find one game that combined bullet hell and rogue. There is no game that did what Returnal did. There isn't. It's the first. One game that did bullet hell rogue doesn't mean that Returnal wasn't the first to do it in the way that they did it, right? Max Payne, why more remakes? Free? Oh, it does say free. Huh. It's a new feature. It's called Good Drugs. If you're just tuning in, we are talking about Halo Infinite Season 2, Metroid Dread Boss Rush, and Returnal getting Game of the Year, finally. Whatever you're most interested in, it looks like Halo Infinite Season 2 is winning the vote, and Returnal Game of the Year debate is winning the vote. They're basically tied. So right now we're having the Returnal Game of the Year debate. As a game dev, did research on game design, how the particles interact with the environment is mind-blowing. Yeah, the particle effects in Returnal are also amazing. Do you think Returnal will see a bump since it's included in the PlayStation Plus plans? There was an article recently about that. Like the CEO of Housemarque was like, we really hope to get like a new batch of fans with the PlayStation Plus thing. If you've never been here before, we did a discussion this morning, Max Payne remakes, and now we're doing sort of a triple topic. If you followed me for a long time, we're trying to gauge how the audience responds to triple topic and how YouTube responds to triple topic. The co-op made the game so much better too. I couldn't beat the last level, but was able to because of a nice random in co-op session. It mitigates the difficulty. Here's why co-op is so perfectly balanced in Returnal, though. You still have to share all of the loot. So you basically have the power of one player split between two, which basically balances the aggro split. So you can't just like go in a room and both be incredibly strong and split the aggro. That would be totally busted. It would ruin the encounters. But the fact that they make you share the loot makes it work. They've done so many stories about the devs, and the devs are very clear. They were scared to make the game because it had never been done before. They took a massive risk. Right. 3D audio isn't a new thing. Well, nobody's... Oh, gosh, my nose. Nobody's saying... Excuse me. Nobody's saying it's a new thing. Golly, that's too many. We're not allowed to sneeze anymore. That's too many. You can't do more. You can't do more than two. If you do more than two sneezes, you got to get control of your life. You really do. And I'm going to practice what I preach, okay? No more. That's enough. Elden Ring doesn't look next gen at all, and I think it will win this year. I think last year in particular, next gen had to be a consideration, right? It had to be a consideration. Give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry. I'm allergic to bad takes, so I'm sneezing. When I get the system, I will try Returnal. Yeah, I can't imagine getting a PlayStation 5 and not at least trying Returnal. I could see people not sticking with it because, you know, because it's been, you know, it's a rogue. Like, I could see people like, I don't want to play a rogue, dude. I don't want to play a rogue. All right, Xbox Atmos. What is this Atmos you're talking about? Dolby Atmos moves sounds from the game all around you in a 360 pinpoint accuracy. Okay, so, see, this is the problem, though, Mo. This is you viewing everything through the lens of an Xbox fan. That has nothing to do with Returnal's quality. Like, Returnal's quality as a game, as a piece of art, absolutely has nothing to do with Xbox. It doesn't. If I told you, bro, you got to go to this restaurant. It's amazing. The breadsticks are phenomenal. the pizza, the spaghetti, the lasagna, it's all incredible. And if your response is, but there's a restaurant on the other side of town that makes breadsticks, that's nothing new. I'm like, okay, but that's not what I'm talking about. That restaurant on the other side of town has nothing to do with the qualitative judgment of this particular restaurant. So Atmos and Dolby 360 and surround existing in other places, it's not even a part of the discussion. Like, who's going to review a game and constantly be like, well, we need to acknowledge the fact that while this game's incredible and utilizes 3D audio, we need to make sure and say that Microsoft's had Atmos for a while. Well, that would be nonsensical. It has no bearing on Returnal's quality. I'm pretty sure PS5 supports Dolby Atmos. Yeah, I don't know. You know Pedantic Mo is in the building today. But this isn't even pedantic. It has nothing to do with the conversation. If you're just tuning in, we're covering a lot of different topics right now. Which one interests you the most? Halo Infinite Season 2, Metroid Dread Boss Rush, or Returnal winning Game of the Year? I'm extremely happy that Returnal got to sweep at least one ceremony because it deserves it. Yo, what's good, Sven? Y'all gotta play. You gotta pay for Dolby Atmos on Xbox, I believe. You gotta pay? Max Payne Remake? What they need to do is fix their game on Steam. It's broken on purchase. The original Max Payne is broken on purchase? I've not heard that. I mean, I don't know why you would go back and buy these really old games. I feel like you're signing up for irritation if you do that. I think Returnal is kind of a short game, but overall it's great. Returnal is boring, so my vote goes to Halo. Why is Returnal boring? Do you like Rogues, Black Superman? Also use DualSense in the best way at the time of its launch. Dolby Atmos is like $5 or $10. It's a one-time license fee, $15. I'm surprised to hear you praise that. Do you think that would just be included with Game Pass, Mo? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Xbox doesn't charge for anything. FPS boost, Game Pass. Well, they're charging you for Atmos. How the crown falls. I'm just kidding. Can you make a vote option of not interested in any of these games? No, because I don't need your negativity on my poll. You like Rogue One, though. Well, if you don't like Rogue games, it's really hard to like Returnal. That's why you should know that Returnal's good. I don't like Rogues. And I'm like, bro, Returnal is a work of art. Returnal deserves Game of the Year. It deserves to sweep. It deserves so much more recognition than it got. I'm saying that as somebody who doesn't like Rogues. I don't like them. I don't like playing them. Even when I can see their quality, I don't like playing them. I can tell you how great Hades is. I'm like, yo, Hades is a baller game. It's a dope game, great quality, amazing voice acting, art style, soundtrack, everything. Really great, concise writing for lore building and world building and wonderful investment and repetition and a sense of power and progression. And I'll never freaking play it to completion. Why? Because I don't like Rogues. Returnal is in its own category. It's not. That would be like saying Hellblade is just another action adventure game. I would slap you like Will Smith. Like, I would give you an absolute crack on the mouth if you're like, Hellblade's just another action adventure game. I'm like, you should not speak such foolishness, okay? You can't say that, well, Returnal is just another game. No, it is not. It is special in so many ways. So many games don't achieve that level of artistry and storytelling and ambition and technological advancement all in one package. It's like going to the sub shop and getting the sandwich with everything on it, and it actually tastes good. They nail it, right? Like, it's so hard to go to play Supreme Pizzas sometimes, man. It just doesn't taste right. It's too much stuff. It's They get it right. They get so much right at once. Yeah, keep Hellblade out of your blanking mouth, okay? You don't talk bad about Hellblade. You'll get smacked. Lono, now that you've kind of shifted your view on certain genres, what game type or game do you feel most at home with? Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't have a home, because as much as I love Elden Ring, I have, maybe it's Elden Ring because it feels like Destiny to me. I love it and hate parts of it. I love it and criticize parts of it. I want to play it every day, and yet there are parts of it that won't make me want to pull my dadgum hair out. And I felt that about Destiny all of the time. Hellblade is going to light the gen on fire. Yeah, I mean, I think Hellblade's going to be great Unreal 5 tour de force. If you're new and just tuning in, take the poll at the top of the chat. We want to know what you're interested in. Halo Infinite Season 2. Metroid Dread Boss Rush is just getting demolished in the poll. And then Returnal Game of the Year debate. If you voted for Halo Infinite Season 2, what did you think of Joseph Staten's tweets? Why is he drawing attention to that dust cloud? Is he hinting at campaign? Is he hinting at world changes? Is he hinting at a battle royale? What do you think? What do you think he's doing? Is Lono a video game refugee? If I'm totally honest with you, I prefer just to play games with like my wife and my kids now if it's not Elden Ring. Like, unless it's like a significant game that I really want to play to completion. Like when God of War comes out, or if like Ghost of Tsushima does something special. I really wish we had the channel size and the ability for me to like commit once a week to Ghost of Tsushima on lethal and play it black and white and just enjoy it, but we're not in a place to do that. I don't know. A lot of the factory games that get spit out by the industry, I have zero interest in. He wants to draw attention to the fact that anything other than the fact that almost 7 years in, the game is still not finished, says Creature. Hellblade 1 was perfection. I've actually always argued it's the closest to perfection of gaming as art. If you're going to treat a game as an art form, I think Hellblade is the absolute closest game to ever, like, they got close to the sun of perfection. There's elements of Hellblade 1 that I don't like. There's things that they did that I think needed some more polish. There's a couple of puzzles and monsters where the immersion gets broken by some of the sloppiness. But as an art, as a piece of art, Hellblade is the closest game to ever get close to perfection. There's not another game. Returnal's the only other game I put up there. I put Returnal up there with Hellblade. I do. Ghost of Tsushima's in close proximity, but not quite. But I guess Ghost of Tsushima, we can't count Ghost of Tsushima because it was quote-unquote made by a bunch of white people, and we all know what that means. It can't be good. We really hope you can figure out a way to do the Ghost Black and White lethal run. Yeah, I would. Oh my gosh, I would love that. I really would. I would really love that. First part of that comment was that I worry 2 is going to be too different from 1. Oh, you think it's going to be a big departure from Hellblade 1. Yeah. I could see that. R Squared says, hope your Monday is going great. Thanks for being here, R Squared. Joe is just distracting the Halo hardcore fans from the game problems. Okay, so I know you guys are being cynical and kind of funny. You honestly think that Joseph Staten's like, I got to distract the audience. I'm going to say something about the dust cloud? Or do you think there's actually something going on? This guy says, am I seeing things or what? Oh, the dust cloud being angry. Oh, it does look like a face. Oh, right. It does look like a face in the dust cloud for sure. Maybe that's why I said it looks angry. Define art, Lono. For me, the manga anime style of Azura Wrath was nutty. As an art form, like, Hellblade set out to be a fully functional experience of a story and a psychosis. Like, it's more than just a video game. It's not simply something to entertain you. It's something to be experienced. Right? Hellblade's not just another video game. If anybody talks about Hellblade like it's just some other video game, they don't know what the frick they're talking about. Like, it is an experience. It's a meaningful, well-crafted, practically perfectly executed experience. Virtually no other game in existence has ever done what Hellblade does. And the reason we're talking about that, if you're tuning in, is because one of the topics today is Returnal getting a nice sweep of awards at the BAFTAs and finally got a Game of the Year, which I think it deserves. And we're also talking about Halo Infinite Season 2, and why did Joseph Staten bring attention to the cloud, like the dust cloud in the background. Just a piece of art. Sable's at the top of my list. Yeah, Sable had, I think, too many technical frustrations for me to care. I wonder why that blue light's on the batteries are probably low in my controller here. Like I have a controller for my LED lights. I'm going to go back and try to finish Hellblade because you said so. Telling you. Right? The game isn't failed. The show is great. And yes, I want to get the cookbook. Self-proclaimed chef here. So your take, Mo, on the Halo series and on Halo Infinite is that you think the show is great? I got to eat my lunch here. I'm having a little fruit salad in between commentary. I really need to set aside time to play Hellblade when I can go through without stopping. You got to play with headphones. You got to. Is Hellblade the only Microsoft property that you like? Gears, Fable, Forza, Perfect Dark. I don't like Forza. It has nothing to do with Microsoft. I don't like car games. I like Gears. I actually thought the latest Gears was really amazing. I gave it really high praise. I thought the evolution of the Gears franchise was magnificent. I thought the open world, I thought they evolved the combat so that it actually felt new and fresh and not like just another Gears game. I actually didn't like how Gears ended because they went back to like the classic Gears set piece design and it got really boring and predictable at the end. And that was only because up to that point, I thought they had done such a great job with it. So I thought Gears finally evolved in the way that it needed to. And Fable, I loved Fable when I played it, but I've never gone back to it. So I'm looking forward to the new Fable being built in the Forza engine. So I don't have like or dislike based off of platform. I don't. Like, think of me as the guy up in the casting box at a baseball game. And I'm simply talking about how many batters have gotten on base and have gotten home, and how many runs are on the board. And I'm like, man, Sony's got some great players. They've gotten some really, really good home runs. And I look at Microsoft's and I'm like, yeah, Microsoft's got to get there. Microsoft has some batters that I'm confident can get on base and even get home and really put some points on the board. It's just going to take time because we don't know. We have no idea how successful will Starfield be? How good is Hellblade 2 going to be? I'm very confident in Hellblade 2. I think Gears is going to be phenomenal. After what they did with the most recent Gears of War, I'm actually very confident in that franchise given that they're moving to Unreal 5 as well. So when I look at all the Microsoft property, like Fable being built in the Forza engine, I'm like, oh brother, that's probably going to be one of the best photorealistic open world games that we've played. Because that engine, I think, can do it. Was out of town last week. Good to hear your voice again. Yo, thank you for 12 months of membership, Baker. Guys, don't forget, we have added membership incentives. Monday through Friday, we're still doing 2 shows a day on this channel totally for free. We're going to do an extra show Thursday afternoons and a Friday night show with my wife that's members only. The Friday night show will also once a month be community game night. And this month, April 22nd, Friday night, we're going to do Fortnite no-build squads. You got to be a member to play. Consider doing a membership. We are talking Halo Infinite Season 2 and basically Metroid Dread Boss Rush nobody cares about. So we're talking Halo Infinite Season 2 and Returnal winning Game of the Year at the BAFTAs, and we're debating the quality of Returnal. We're debating why Joseph Staten drew everybody's attention to the dust in a trailer of for the new season in Halo. Microsoft third-party devs are sleeping giant with massive potential. Yeah, don't forget about Elder Scrolls. I mean, that could be really good too. We haven't seen anything from them. So far, Microsoft is all talk since the Xbox One came out. Other than Forza, which is amazing. Right, you know what I think is hurting Microsoft the most right now? In the realm of consumer confidence, I think if Halo Infinite would not have come out, everybody could be like, look, man, Forza was great. We're just going to have to wait. We're in transition, right? We're in transition. I think Halo really, really hurt consumer confidence. I think it did. Microsoft becomes Metacritic's top publisher of 2021, making history as the first company to average an 85 plus score. Yeah. That's not sus at all. Halo Master Chief hurt confidence the most. Yeah, but the irony about the Halo Master Chief Collection, both hurt but rebuilt confidence. Like, it hurt confidence, but it rebuilt the confidence. They showed, like, hey, we can really listen to the community. We can really make good changes. Like, the pattern, I think, right now, and this is why I think that the general consensus from the community is concern and worry for Halo Infinite. It's because they thought, I think a lot of people thought, okay, you launched the multiplayer as a beta, the battle pass and the earn rates and the XP, what the frick was all this? All right, Season 2, you guys are going to come out swinging. And they have seemingly been preparing everybody for disappointment for Season 2. They're almost like setting the table to be like, no, we just want to let y'all know that, no, we're not coming out swinging. Now, maybe they've had a stroke of genius to like downplay the next season. They're downplaying the next season, and then they're going to like surprise everybody, okay? Maybe. But I don't know. When they're like, yeah, no Forge. Yeah, no co-op, at least not until late in the season. And like everybody's like, wait, what? And they look at the offering for Season 2, like sort of the generic outline, and it's like, man, you guys are really, really trying to lower expectations. Is that on purpose because you're worried, or you're trying to like manipulate us, or do you genuinely feel like this sort of a lack of confidence in what you've built? Not sus at all. Microsoft ranked The top 10 game publishers of 2021. Microsoft ranked 6th in 2020. 3 great games. Forza Horizon 5, Psychonauts 2, Microsoft Flight Sim. Sony ranked 4th with 0 great games, 11 scored titles, and an average score of 81. Yeah. So it's not sus at all that Microsoft becomes Metacritic's top publisher with their scoring average, and Sony somehow hasn't managed to get a single great game on Metacritic, but Microsoft has 3. Come on. At least we have Doc Shooter to look forward to. Gritter says, the fact that most of the heads of the Initiative Studio have quit has removed all my consumer confidence in Microsoft. They need to give Perfect Dark to Nintendo or PlayStation. So, Gritter, are you worried about Microsoft as the owner/publisher? Did they interfere, or did it just the Initiative Studio has fallen apart? Like, it does seem concerning. Look at 343 and how they mismanaged Halo, and now you got Perfect Dark, apparently, for that team falling apart, too? Speaking of Perfect Dark, what's Rare done since Rare Replay? All Rare has done has been Sea of Thieves. That's it. That's all Rare has done is Sea of Thieves. The heads were ticked. They didn't get a day and didn't want to follow Daryl? Huh? What are you referring to, Mo? Gritter says that's exactly my reasoning. So Gritter is basically saying he thinks it's a Microsoft problem. Can we get a Donkey Kong Country remake? I just want a new Donkey Kong. Wait. A Donkey Kong Country third-person action adventure with melee combat. People are like, no, man, Donkey Kong Country's got to be a side-scroller. You're probably right. Why are devs seemingly running away from Microsoft and running towards Sony? Think about the stories we've heard the last few years. This is why the development of Perfect Dark is being handled by Crystal Dynamics. 343 Studios, and now the Initiative. Perfect Dark was never the same after Microsoft acquired Rare. Open world Souls-like rogue Donkey Kong. An open world Souls rogue, yeah. Donkey Kong BR. There was one already. Donkey Kong Returns in the sequel was something Frozen. Yeah, my wife and I played one of them. I think it was the Frozen one. And they don't function well as co-op games. They're really, really bad as co-op games. It's actually easier to play by yourself. It's just frustrating to play with another person. You joke, but you have my attention. This morning, I gave out the best advice I could. You know, it's the best idea I've ever had. Mario Kart Battle Royale. Everybody drops onto the map with the Mario Karts, with those 3 balloons as you float down. And then you're just running around a map the size of Fortnite, similar graphical style of Fortnite. And just like any, Battle Royale, you got these random, boxes everywhere. And you use those random boxes to get weapons. And then you use those weapons to fight and get people's balloons. Mario Kart. Instead of Mario Kart Battle Mode, Mario Kart Battle Royale. Are you not doing anything with Lego Star Wars? Just curious. Figure you'd be playing it or talking about it. I played it and talked about it last week, and the support was awful. And then I played it with my wife as a members-only stream. The support's not there. We covered it the week before it came out, and it absolutely crushed. And then a week later, I covered it in the morning, and we debated the movies. Turnout was atrocious. And then I played the game, and turnout was atrocious. Like, one of the biggest games, titles, and franchises, and it launches in a drought. And it was like I was playing some random game that I just picked off the shelf, some random indie title. I don't know. It was weird. Excuse me, I have to go for some unrelated reason. Immediately leaves desk, sets up a meeting with Nintendo, and quits job. We found out you wore a Qui-Gon costume. No, it was Jar Jar. Yeah, my wife. If you guys are not a member, you're gonna miss out on the wife streams. On Friday night, she played with me in Star Wars, and she told everybody that I dress up as Jar Jar like 6 years in a row or something. What are your thoughts on Wonderlands? It's the best Borderlands to date, and they shouldn't have named it Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. They should have named it Borderlands 4. They hurt the marketability, saturation, and market awareness of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I think everybody thought it was a DLC. They should have called it Borderlands 4 because it's better than Borderlands 3. And they're stupid. Like, with respect, Gearbox, you're stupid. You released Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep as a standalone, which is incredibly stupid and a misuse of that wonderful DLC. It confused people, and it didn't function well as a standalone release because it was supposed to be a capstone DLC to a full game called Borderlands 2. So they confused everybody. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is no doubt in my mind the best Borderlands game to release. They've evolved all the appropriate things and systems and executed it really, really well. And you know what they did? They shot it in the leg by not calling it Borderlands 4. You called it Tiny Tina's Wonderlands after releasing Assault on Dragon's Keep as a standalone. And so everybody thought it was a DLC. You're stupid. Who greenlit that marketing? Whoever they are, fire them, because they don't know what the frick they're talking about. You literally paid Andy Samberg and Will Arnett and Wanda Sykes to voice act, and that's how you treat the property? What the huh? What? Wait, it's not DLC? I thought it was DLC as well. Yeah, there you go. Good job, Gearbox. The overworld is dumb, though. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's perfect. I'm saying it's the best Borderlands out of the bunch. And they freaking titled it and named it and made people think it was a stinking DLC. And they compounded the perception of DLC by selling Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep as a standalone, and that's a DLC for Borderlands 2. I wouldn't say it's quite as good as Borderlands 2. It's miles better than 3, just on story alone. 2 is okay, but I don't know. They dropped a lot of the good systems from Borderlands 1. Yeah, the story's better than Borderlands 3, yes, 100%. Why don't you swear? It's a safe for work broadcast. A lot of people throw me on in the background like video game radio throughout their day, and being safe for work makes it a real easy listen. They don't have to worry about me dropping like 8 F-bombs in a row. So yeah, we don't swear on the channel. Now, I don't label myself as family friendly, it's safe for work. Family friendly is not quite applicable to what we do here. If you guys have never been here before, we did a talk show this morning about the Max Payne remakes. This afternoon is our second talk show of the day. We're talking Halo Infinite Season 2. And we're talking Returnal Game of the Year. Nobody's voting for Metroid Dread Boss Rush as a news piece. So we've been kind of debating Halo Infinite Season 2. Why did Joseph Staten draw everybody's attention to the dust cloud? You know, what's Halo got coming? You know, can they kind of fix themselves? And then also, I debated why I think Returnal deserved way better treatment by the American gaming press than it got. Over 70 unique named bosses in Wonderlands do not respawn. Man, why do they keep repeating that mistake? They did that before. They did that in the prequel, the pre-sequel. If you haven't smashed the like button or voted on our poll yet, please do so. We were experimenting today with how well would a triple topic be received by the main audience as well as by YouTube. The jury's still out. I think you guys have responded well. We're still seeing how YouTube decides to treat a video like this. It can be a challenge for YouTube to know where to put the video. But plenty of talk shows and video game coverage, you know, cover multiple topics in one video. Gritter with the 14-month membership renewal. Welcome back, Gritter. He says, before Microsoft, Joanna Dark is a British spy with a deep British accent. Microsoft buys Rare, and now Joanna is a bounty hunter from Atlanta, Georgia. Come on. Wait, so they completely changed it? Where do you get this music from? This is the one that is promoted by Devin Nash called Stream Tunes, but Stream is spelled with 2 E's. Stream Tunes, DMCA safe music. It's the one that Devin Nash promotes. They put those bosses in the chaos mode, which is where they want you to spend your time, but I don't like the change either. Oh, so they took Tiny Tina's Wonderland's end game and they have it, but like other, it's more structured. Okay. You like it? Yeah, I switched to this off of Harris Heller's Synthwave because I felt that Harris Heller's Synthwave was not as good. I listened to this playlist one time, and I was like, yeah, this is way better. Eugene says, I've been screaming that for a while now. They destroy the IPs they've acquired. Gritter says, she's supposed to be a female James Bond. Can you imagine James Bond being retconned to Atlanta, Georgia? People think I'm fanboying when I'm just stating facts. So in light of Halo Infinite Season 2 and Joseph Staten's tweets, Eugene has an article, E3 2018. Here's what happened to every studio Microsoft has bought. FASA Studios, founded in 1995, bought by Microsoft in 1999, status closed in 2007. Bungie was bought in 2000, and they separated. I don't know why this is alive but separated. Oh, no, alive but separated. I thought it said alive, not separated. Digital Anvil, bought by Microsoft in 2000, status closed in 2006. Ensemble, bought in 2001 by Microsoft, closed in 2008. This isn't looking good. Rare, they bought Rare in 2002, and in 20 years we got Rare Replay and Sea of Thieves. That's not the greatest track record. Lionhead Studios, bought by Microsoft in 2006, status closed in 2016. Big Spark, bought by Microsoft in 2009, status alive. This is one of their quieter pixels Big Park hasn't released any games before joining the fold in 2009. Microsoft turned Big Park's Joyride game into an early Kinect offering, and the developer worked on 2 other Kinect titles after that. Big Park's been relatively reticent since, seemingly focused more on Microsoft apps than games. So this is an older article. That's 4 years ago. I don't know if Big Park has done anything since then. This is all before Phil Spencer. Well, I mean, I like Phil. I like Phil as much as you like Phil, but like, I don't know. Can Philly cheesesteak fix this? This is a pretty bad pattern, isn't it? Twisted Pixel bought in 2011, and they've separated. Press Play bought in 2012, closed 4 years later in 2016. Mojang was bought by Microsoft in 2014, status alive. So these guys are the guys behind, I guess, Minecraft and Minecraft Dungeons. So they've been pretty good for them. So they got a, I don't know, man. They got a pretty sordid history to fix if that's not going to shake our confidence in who they own now and what they're doing. No, I like Phil. I think Phil Spencer is the only reason that there's an Xbox right now. I mean, if it wasn't for Phil Spencer, they would have walked away. They'd have walked away from the market. Like, I'm out of here. What's the point of this? I mean, even now, Creature and I have had some phone calls and speculated that they might be getting away from hardware and purely into software. When Microsoft buys you up, you got to step up to the plate of greatness or get spit out. So you would say Rare has achieved that? I mean, they haven't spit out Rare. So Rare is still alive and still going. I wonder how much they've shrunk in size in the 20 years. Because in 20 years' time, they gave us Rare Replay and Sea of Thieves, and Sea of Thieves seems to be doing okay. So the Amber Heard stuff's heating back up again. We might have something to talk about on radio this week. Yeah, 343 didn't achieve greatness. They've lost billions trying to play in hardware. Time to move on, says Creature. Yeah, I think Microsoft's primarily a software company, truth be told. The new 343 title just illuminates greatness. I think Sea of Thieves is a great game. I don't think Sea of Thieves has been a huge triumph, though. It really hasn't. Unless they've really captured a huge audience on consoles and the PC audience is just not indicative of anything. Many of those studios had nothing except technology to begin with. Microsoft bought the tech, not the developer. I mean, Akuta Papa, I am completely willing to acknowledge that sometimes companies Microsoft size are not buying developers because it's out of the goodness of their heart. Like, the other side of this, let's go to the other side of the coin here. And let's be fair. Look at the success of ID at Xbox and all those indie studios and titles, okay? Like, we can't ignore that and act like they haven't actually done good work for studios and developers that they've helped with either acquisition or publishing dollars. So ID at Xbox has actually been, I think, one of their stronger gaming efforts. But when you look at big AAA acquisitions, it's hard not to think, ooh, I don't know, man. They buy these studios, and then these studios either shut down or stall out. Like, do you really want 20 years in for Bethesda to look the same as Rare? 20 years. 20. They bought Rare 20 years ago. That's when I moved to Louisville. Like, I've lived in the city of Louisville that long. And you have Rare Replay and Sea of Thieves. Like, that's it. Now, again, looking back at Rare and some other companies, they might have had them working on Kinect games. I think they actually had Rare working on a lot of Kinect games. And the Kinect flopped, right? So they tried to be on the forefront of motion detected stuff, of like motion detected, games. But at the same time, that was a huge mistake that set them back. Like, you can't look at the Kinect and not say that was a total flub. It almost, in my mind, I almost feel like the Kinect was like, they took the bait from Nintendo. Sony did the same thing, by the way. So I'm not going to sit here and only play one side of the aisle. Sony did the same dadgum thing with motion controls, and where is it all now? They took the Nintendo bait. Like, Nintendo Wii comes out, and they have bowling, and they have baseball, and they have all this stuff, and oh yeah, they did Killer Instinct. That's right. Rare did well with both of the Viva Pinata games. Did those launch under Microsoft's publishing and ownership? So we don't want to discount that. I might not have realized the timeline on Viva Pinata. All the motion control stuff still feeds their VR. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's safe to say that any technological advancements that Sony made with their motion controls is now being implemented into their VR and their VR controls. Sure. But, Microsoft, shuttered all that. That's all gone. Rare actually made Cameo, Perfect Dark Zero, and a couple of other games since their ownership with Microsoft in 2002. Was it 2002? Is that when Microsoft bought them? So 20 years. Maybe they actually have done decent work with Rare. And Rare just suddenly slowed down all of a sudden. Yeah, they bought by Microsoft in 2002. Okay, the purchase put Rare so squarely on the Xbox camp, and the company's first few years were rocky due to ill-received, grabbed by the ghoulies, and underselling Conquer Live and Reloaded. The Xbox 360 treated Rare better, with Cameo and Perfect Dark Zero arriving at launch, and the developer followed it up with a lighthearted fare with Viva Pinata and Banjo-Kazooie's Nuts and Bolts. In 2009, Rare switched gears and devoted their efforts to Microsoft's motion sensing peripheral Kinect. Okay, so I was right about that. So it sounds like they did great until you put them on the Kinect in 2009. So since then, Rare survives today, but in a very different form. The company went through layoffs and the failure of their Kinect Sports rivals, and Microsoft shutting down the Kinect. The recent Rare Replay compilation won a lot of praise, but while the launch of Sea of Thieves was enjoyable, the longevity of the open-world pirate adventure remains to be seen. So basically, Rare was doing just fine until they were like, hey, go work on the Kinect. So that might give some credence to the people in chat that were like, well, you got to let Phil's in charge now. Let Phil Spencer drive the ship, because when they did all the Kinect stuff, that wasn't under his watch, and they shuttered the Kinect stuff. They almost shut down the Microsoft gaming initiatives, and then they're like, and then he basically gets everything back on course. So that certainly gives credence to people saying Phil can get things put in the right direction. So much of this was because they tried to get this Connect stuff, and it literally almost ruined Rare. Not fully disagreeing. There have been updates to DirectX and other things because of developments from some of the companies. Anything Microsoft does on the PC platform can dominate. Anything it does on console world will more than likely be overshadowed by Nintendo and Sony. Perfect Dark Zero was horrible, says Gritter, compared to the first one made for Nintendo. Nintendo female James Bond and actually succeeds GoldenEye perfectly. Oh, I get what you're saying. Perfect Dark Zero wasn't exactly up to Rare standards. But it still seems like they were doing okay. They were launching games, and for that time, right, pre-2009, pre-Connect, they were doing fine, right? Yeah, you got to think, though, back then, Perfect Dark Zero getting an 81 in the 7.2, that's actually a pretty good score for back then, right? Back then, it was hard to get a good score. At least I feel like it was. Nuts and Bolts was okay, but not the best. Nuts and Bolts was trash, says somebody else. Says Crazy Cliff. They were doing okay. Well, I mean, they were making games, is the point. Yeah, like Viva Pinata got an 84 from the Metacritic reviewers and an 8 from the users. Like, you see what I'm saying? They were making games, and the games were getting a certain amount of acceptance. They weren't being ripped to shreds. Oh, that wasn't Rare? Who wasn't Rare? Viva Pinata? It says right there, developer Rare. Fusion Frenzy? Oh, Fusion Frenzy. He's asking about Fusion Frenzy. GoldenEye, Donkey Kong Country, Banjo, Conquer, etc. to doing okay. Now, Eugene, was that because of Microsoft? Or does it look like their attempt to jump onto a new landscape was rocky? Whose fault is that? I know Microsoft seemingly has this pattern that we're looking at here in this article of buying places and then those places shut down, right? But from where I sit, Rare could have just really, really struggled to adapt to the new technology. Yeah, Perfect Dark and Donkey Kong Country were amazing, okay? And then they get on the 360 and they launch Cameo, Perfect Dark Zero. How well did Cameo do? Kameo. How well did that one do? And then they followed up with Viva Pinata, which does great. Banjo-Kazooie's Nuts and Bolts sounds like it didn't do so great. So is some of this because, like, were they having a hit or miss experience because they were trying to launch on newer technology? They didn't make Donkey Kong Country? Yes, they did. The original Donkey Kong Country is Rare. So is Donkey Kong Country 2. So is GoldenEye. Right? Wasn't GoldenEye also Rare? There we go. Cameo. Elements of Power. Basically an 80. An 8 out of 10 from the audience and an 80 from the... Both a 79 and a 7.9. I'll just round that up to 8. That's good. That's a good score. Like, 7s and 8s are good scores. They didn't need to be hitting 9s and 10s. Again, like, that doesn't mean they fell all the way down the ladder. You know, how many developers, consistently do that? Sometimes, they're riding high, and then the next game's, an 8 instead of a 9. Wasn't all the Donkey Kongs on SNES Rare? I believe so. There was 3? I can't remember how many there were on the Super Nintendo. If Sony's crap starts doing day and date on multi-platform for free for AAA titles, yes, I'll hate it too. They're never going. I don't think they're ever going to. The CEO has already made that clear. They're not doing that. The hit and miss was because of the new technology. The Kinect was super rough on the software side. You could make a 10 out of 10 game and it would get an 8 because of the Kinect control. Is Creature Calling Game Pass games free to play? They're a version of free to play. I mean, I don't know. Xbox record that. Remember that? Remember? You'd like make a really great play in Call of Duty and you'd be like, Xbox record that. No one wanted Kinect in the first place. It was forced on us. Well, I think you can just see when you have people making really, really bad decisions, look at the long-lasting effects it has. Look at the long-lasting effects that it had on the Microsoft platform. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they forced the Kinect. They were going to force you to always be online, and the price point was really high. So they absolutely bumble the marketing. They essentially hand the baton to PlayStation and say, go ahead, you can take the lead now. Like, whoever was in charge of the marketing and the way they packaged all of that, they basically set that console up to just absolutely, utterly fail. It was an absolute just failure from the bottom to the top. It was like nobody was going to even consider the console. It was like, motion controls? Well, I don't want that. What if I don't want that thing? What if I don't want a camera in my living room? Right? I gotta always be online? What? Now, what's actually funny is how much we just sort of accept that now. Right? Like, I kind of feel bad for Microsoft because, like, they were ahead of the curve and it chopped their head off. You know what I mean? Like, motion control and always online is more accepted now. Like, if somebody came out with motion control and, you know, and VR, right, that's more accepted. VR still has a long way to go. I still think VR is always going to struggle because people don't want to wear something on their face or they don't like it. But I definitely think the idea of motion control and always being online is far more accepted now. People are like, yeah, what's the problem with that? I don't, you know what I mean? But back when that was announced for the Xbox, everyone acted like it was crazy. Everyone thought it was nuts. You know, why would I do that? Why would I need my console to always be online? You still don't accept always online? It's bullcrap. But do you do that? Like, do you do that with your PC though? Like, I don't understand. Like, if you want to use any of the gaming outlets on your PC, you have to be online to interact with their storefronts, and then it verifies your purchases and all those other things that being online does. Who are these people accepting of always online? People who use their cell phones to game? People who use their PCs to game? I don't know. People who don't act like curmudgeon-y senior citizens about it? I don't know. The largest portions of the global gaming community don't have a single ounce of problem with needing to be online. Like, they don't care. Like, the mobile gaming populace and the PC gaming populace is chuckling at the handful of console users in the West that are like, I don't want to be online all the time. Like, the rest of the gaming globe is like, yeah, we don't give a frick. We don't freaking care. What difference does it make? Oh, I got that patch and that update this morning when I wasn't even paying attention. Sweet. Fix that issue I was having and I didn't have to do anything. Awesome. Always online's okay until a server or internet outage prevents you from playing a single player game. Well, surely most PC users and mobile users, you can play a lot of those single player games and you don't have to be online. Like if my internet goes out, I can still play virtually all of the games on my PC. Cell phones might be a little bit different, right? Because they need to verify the purchase or something. I don't know, because like if you take the SIM card out and then they can't play the game, some of that again is a piracy control, right? Because you need to be able to verify the purchase. Because if you basically if you jailbreak a phone, couldn't you then find ways to retroactively, distribute all the software and games, which would completely, decimate the mobile market, especially in markets where jailbreaking is more common. Who was the guy Jeff interviewed over at Microsoft that was in charge of the infamous response? I'm not sure which infamous response you're referring to. More like, I want to come home and play a game, but I can't because I need the patch. Sure, well, yeah, sure. Like, that's one thing I do like that Nintendo does. Me and my kiddos will go to play something on the Switch, and it'll be like, there's a software update. Do you want to download the update or continue playing or whatever? And you can just continue playing. Like, it doesn't make you download the update. Now, it would if we were playing an online game against other players, but that's just because you have to have version agreement for multiplayer. That was happening a couple weeks ago with Gran Turismo 7. You couldn't play it at all because the servers were down for 24 hours. Yeah, listen, I'm always on your side if you're arguing for single-player games to just let you play even if the servers are down. I am 100% in agreement with that. If nothing in the game is handled server side, if I'm loading up the levels and the worlds and the missions and the campaign and all of that, and it's all running on my computer, and you just want to do some weird social check or some weird stupid login, and I can't play the game until the game does that, no, I agree with you. That's not what I'm taking issue with. Like, there's a difference between saying your console needs to be online or needs to periodically get online for these various types of things and being like 100% against that. That's not the same as being like, oh, you literally can't play a single player game without being online. I'm not in support of that. I feel like that's an overreach, and also it's an unnecessary restriction on the player. And I don't think I know some. I don't know, I guess maybe more games are moving toward that. Which doesn't make sense for single-player games. A $5 tip from East Coast Overlord. As a PC player, I can empathize with wanting to be offline. Steam just gives you so much value and reason to be online. If you guys haven't pressed the like button yet or voted in the poll, we got 300 votes on the poll. Halo Infinite Season 2 and Returnal Game of the Year debate. We are obviously not talking about either of those things. We were testing Triple Topic to see how it would be treated by the people who subscribe to this channel and by YouTube. I would say YouTube is giving us good reason to question doing this. We might have to try it when maybe there's some slightly stronger topics, but YouTube seems to not be responding well to this. We'll continue to see and just monitor. We haven't done this in a really long time, and it for good reason. It didn't seem to do all that well. There are people that do it, and I think maybe you have to have good volume, and we haven't had good volume for all of last week and this week. And again, that could be YouTube fiddling with the UI, but our starting numbers and momentum have been pretty bad, and it seems to be that people are maybe not adapting to the new UI or something. Off topic, how the members only streams go on Friday. They went well. we've not seen a huge response today, but we also haven't had great, we've had pretty mediocre turnout because there's not a lot of gaming news, and that hurts everything. And so when I've mentioned it, I'm not seeing people hitting the join button yet. So we'll see. Like, I don't want to constantly hijack the talk show to talk about our member incentives, but I mean, I'm just gonna be flat out honest with you. We've got to see membership go up, or the whole operation gets shut down. Like, I can't do this with dwindling membership numbers. So all the free stuff's you're gonna see a closed sign on the door if we can't see good efforts. So that's why we came up with the member incentives, and they did very well on Friday, but we want to see like a consistent good response to those efforts over the next couple of months as we try it out. It's a new thing, and it's hard to, in the middle of the talk show, like, outline all of the things we're trying to do for members. I'm even struggling today to mention it because, like, there's so many things to mention. It feels like it disrupts the show, and anytime I do it, it drives viewership down. Like, I can literally see we lose 10 to 20 people anytime I take a moment to talk about, like, what we're doing. And it feels like you're spinning your tires. It's like, well, I'm offering member bonuses, member incentives, and member perks, but when I mention it, I hurt my viewership, and when I hurt my viewership, I hurt my momentum, and when I hurt my momentum, it hurts our exposure because YouTube looks at that as like a poorly performing stream. So I don't know. The YouTube audience is a tough nut to crack, because it's like, we've got a great vibe and a great show, but the YouTube audience basically doesn't want you to do anything that has anything to do with supporting monetarily. Like, they just don't want you to talk about it. The audience never responds well to it. So I think that's what hurt us, because I spent months barely mentioning stuff. Like, I barely mentioned shirts and coffee and membership for months because I could tell it hurt our numbers, and then we felt it. We felt like a lack of conversion. It's like, well, if I don't say it, we won't get it, and if I do say it, it seems to hurt us. I don't know what the frick we're supposed to do. You know? East Coast Overlord was 7 months. Did you play The Last Jedi and Lego Star Wars yet? No, we got to No, we haven't even done that trilogy yet. Yo, it's good, Silver Subaru. How many members would make it viable? I need membership to basically double, and I don't know how to do it other than to offer perks and just to wait. We just have to offer the perks and wait and see what people want, and see what people respond to, right? It might take a while for people to, like, see, oh, I'm missing out on this stream, I'm gonna become a member. Oh, tonight's the game night, I'm gonna become a member. It might just take a while, right? I don't expect to say it one time and get results. I think my biggest struggle is, when am I supposed to talk about it? The talk show struggled all last week, and it struggled again today. Why? Because we don't have anything really popping, and if I don't stay on topic, it hurts us. So it's like, if I don't aggressively stay on topic, that the video just dies. It just falls all the way down the stairs. So you can see it even now. We couldn't crack out a 250, and we're dead in the water. We are literally dead in the water. And it's like, okay. And every time I've mentioned membership, we lose more people. And so YouTube sees that as negative engagement. It's like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do then. If talking about support drives people away, live streams simply cannot thrive off of ad revenue because we can't integrate enough ads in the stream to make up for it. So, member streams seem to be glitched on mobile. I didn't get kicked out when you changed to members only. Beer cheese looked good, by the way. No, that's not true. It kicked people out. We tested it. We tested it with another device in the home. How's it going for Doc and his gaming company? We've not heard much. So, YouTube just isn't a place where it is spending culture. Yeah, so we've just got to figure out how to talk about it without driving people away. I basically spent all of December and January and February just doing the talk show and never mentioning those things. and it absolutely, like, we've just done nothing but lose money because I'm not talking about them, right? Coffee did great in February. Why? Because I was constantly talking about it and constantly pushing the discount and the sale that we were doing on the holiday numbers. I'm sorry, on the holiday flavor. So it's like, we know there's a direct correlation between, like, mentioning it, right? Chat was glitched, but everything was fine. I could rewind, too, until it ended. I mean, we had other people testing the feature that got kicked out, so it may work for some, but not for all. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen you talk in chat. Like, maybe you're just like a hardcore lurker, but we had other people indicate that it kicked them out. Like, it literally stopped them from watching, so. Unless you're just like hardcore lurker. Is it all members only now? No, just the Friday night stream with Madam. And then we're adding a new stream to Thursday, like an extra one. You're supposed to be trying those ads every hour this week. Got to try new things. Yeah, but like I can't do it when we are literally struggling to get like the core audience to show up. I'm not going to sit and run ads and run people off. Like I'm not going to do it. Like I said, it feels like you're spinning your tires. Right? It feels like you're spinning your tires. It's like, well, we're struggling to get the core audience to show up again, and it's not the core audience's fault. It's YouTube's fault, right? It's YouTube's fault. Like, we're literally having, like Zubair literally came in on Friday, and he's like, I had to come to your channel to see that you were live. He is literally here every day, and it wasn't showing him that I was live. So our starting numbers and our starting momentum has been absolutely murdered. And then I'm supposed to like run ads and talk about membership, and then it hurts viewership whenever I do that. So it's like a catch-22. It's like, so I'm just supposed to just drag my face and channel across horrible numbers because YouTube's fiddling with stuff? Could be another benefit of being a member, though, not having to watch ads. I can't give that to you as a perk. That's not something on this platform. Quite a few people missing today. The UI changes are definitely contributing. Yeah, like, we had a week where I had all these people coming in, and they're like, yo, you were on my recommended today. You were on my recommended today. We had this amazing week, and I'm like, dude, YouTube's doing it, man. They're putting live streams in more places. And then the very next week, all of our numbers got cut in half. It was like, what the frick? I can't stream 6 hours a day to zero growth. Like, it doesn't work. It doesn't freaking work. It's like, I'm literally staring now at we're gonna stream 6 hours on gaming for less than I could get on a 5-minute upload. Like think of that as a perspective for growth and feeling like it's a futile effort. It's like YouTube turns a couple of dials and it's like, okay, so I guess we shouldn't stream while you're doing this because all I'm doing is just falling down the stairs and it's not my fault. Like, there's nothing I can do. I had no control over the fact that some of those days we had huge numbers. I just pick a topic and go live. Are you going to play Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga? I already did. We already played and covered it. People are conditioned to watch ads, though, way more than purple. Yeah, but when you run ads, you take a break. And when I run ads and take a break, we lose 50 to 60 people. I can't do that 1 hour into the show. It just isn't possible. Like, 1 hour into the show, as we get momentum, I'm supposed to kill the momentum and run ads? That's so not a good idea. I find it so hard to find live streams I'm not subscribed to. I think you can do 1, 3, 6, and 12. Oh, for prepay. Yeah, you can prepay memberships. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Like, we were high on the hog for 3 months, and now I literally feel like this is exactly what it felt like when we walked away from the bigger channel. It literally feels like somebody pushed a button and we can't do anything. We can't do anything right now. And it's so discouraging. It's like, okay, then I won't stream then. Like, I've got other things I can do than to be like playing YouTube's experiment. Like, I'm supposed to sit here for 6 hours a day and have and get nothing. Like, it's so irritating. It's so freaking irritating. I feel like they've absolutely pulled the rug out from under us. I'm new here. We're getting a lot more views. I could end almost any stream and get anywhere from 3 to 4K views. We're struggling to hit 2,000 views after a 3-hour stream. Like, we are dead in the water. It's not that there aren't people here. It's that YouTube isn't putting us in front of anybody. It's like somebody flipped a switch and we're getting terrible impressions. The same thing happened on the big channel, so we walked away from it. We were like, what do you want me to do? Our impressions got cut into a third of what they used to. Well, we attributed it to the fact that it was a big channel and it mostly covered one game. So we come over here. We come over here in September. September, October, November. Better, better, better. January, better. February, better. And then we get into March. Everything's fine. We get into April. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys did, but it's like I'm not live. It's like I'm only streaming to people who habitually check my channel. No, it's not a shadow ban. It's not a shadow ban. It's an algorithmic thing. No, it's not Halo. Look at every topic we covered last week. It's not Halo. And we're not shadow banned because we can stream. We streamed Elden Ring on Friday and had a perfectly fine day. We covered Radahn's buff, and then we played the game totally fine. Right? We went into Elden Ring gameplay totally fine. We actually covered Halo Infinite Battle Royale last week, and it did fine. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But we've done everything we can. We've tried everything we can. I thought maybe we should try Triple Topic. I was like, maybe Triple Topic will help. Maybe it'll pull more folks. Maybe it'll, you didn't pop up today again in my subs. I had to search for you, and it even said you weren't live. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's so discouraging. It's like, so I'm supposed to go live, and I literally have people that can't find me that want to find me. Like, I don't know. Yeah, but I don't want to go over to radio early. I think it's stupid to go to radio early because then we have all these people coming in that are like, oh, you came over here early. You came over here early. And it's like, let's go hurt radio. Like, I don't want to go hurt radio's predictability because we're having a bad day over here. You were probably playing too much Elden Ring. No, see, that theory doesn't hold because you can go look at the videos on this channel, and when we took a break from Elden Ring, we did totally fine. We took a break from Elden Ring, covered Fortnite, did totally fine. We took a break from Elden Ring, covered Hogwarts, did totally fine. Tiny Tina's didn't do all that well, but again, when we did keyword research on it, it seemed like nobody knew to search for it. We covered the Skywalker Saga, fine. PlayStation Game Plus, fine. Starfield, fine. Ashes of Creation was kind of when this all started. I was like, really? Nobody's interested in Ashes of Creation thing? And then when we covered Star Wars the day it came out, it was like we weren't live. It was like, what was going on? So it's not Elden Ring because we covered plenty of things that weren't Elden Ring and we did totally fine. They did something to the UI last week, and it's making it to where our existing subscribers have no idea that I'm live. And when that happens, that murders you. Like, when I have people coming in and telling me what K. Smitty just wrote, and K. Smitty's been here a lot recently, you didn't pop up today in my subs, I had to search for you, and it even said you weren't live. Now, take that to scale. Almost 14,000 people. How many thousands of people in a day are having that happen and they aren't showing up? My YouTube landing page is my subs and you're always visible. Are people saying they never show up on their subs page? I think it's not their subs page, BM. I think it's that first page when you open up the app or the browser and it just throws videos in front of you. I think for a couple of weeks, I was at the top always because I think they did something with UI and with live placement, and now they've turned it off or something. So now people have to go searching for me. So instead of them just getting fed me right away, boom, you watch this guy every day, hey, he's live right now. They have to either go to their sub feed or go to my channel. I always get the pop-up whenever you go live. Pretty sure it's from the bell, though. Yeah, notifications have never been super strong for us over here. Notifications only account for 30 to maybe 100 views on a video. That's not really the bulk of what we get. The bulk of what we were getting was from browse. People literally opening up their browser or their mobile app, and bam, I'm right there. When they start fiddling with that, like, it'll mess with everything. It's like, well, then I'm not in front of as many people, which means I'm not getting as many clicks, which means the algorithm thinks I'm having a less successful day, which means I get suggested less often. Like, it all falls down from there. Like, we are so consistent. You can't tell me it's consistency. We go live at virtually the same time every day. We do 2 streams a day, like covering variety gaming news. Yes, we spent 3 full weeks, 3 to 4 full weeks almost all on Elden Ring, but we spent 2.5 to 3 weeks on New World, and it didn't hurt us that bad. Like, and even still, like I said, you can look and see when we started breaking from Elden Ring, we were totally fine. It was something that they did last week. And it just feels like such a futile effort. It's like, so I'm supposed to stream for 6 hours a day and murder metrics and look like my channel's performing poorly, and none of it's my fault. I get home from work after an hour of you starting. I go to the home page and click on the live stream from there. From my front page. Yeah, a lot of people, that's what they do, Hellfire. A lot of people do that. Yeah. I set 3 to 4 channels to alert me every time they do something. I don't want to rely on people setting up the notifications because noties are inconsistent and people don't like getting noties all the time. So that's why we're just super consistent. That's why I keep telling people, I'm like, listen, if you aren't seeing me live, you need to check my channel. I'm live every day, right? And I think people don't realize it. When I have long-term viewers coming to me and they're like, bro, I had to come find you today. I didn't know you were live. That's super, super concerning. It's like, what the frick did they do? Chances are the change to the live indication has people thinking we aren't live. Because the video used to be highlighted red and now it isn't. It's just on the avatar. Right. Yeah, maybe. But that's not what people are saying, though. People are saying, I had to come to your channel. I didn't know you were live. It works great for me. You're always in my feed and subs. The notifications work. Unfortunately, it sounds like I'm in the minority. Yeah, that's the problem, is you don't know how many people it's affecting. Because only a handful of users will do with that. Only a handful of users will actually take the time to come looking for you. They're like, oh, wow, you're here. Like Zubair the other day said he had to go looking for your live stream. That ain't normal. Yeah, a daily, he said every stream viewer was like, I had to come and look. I had no idea. I couldn't find the video. I get all notifications and you're at the top. This has happened before. This isn't the first time we've gone through this. It's just frustrating that we're coming off all this great momentum and it's like we didn't earn anything. It's like we earned all these great milestones, all these great sub-milestones, and it's like I might as well not have even doubled the sub count. We're pulling worse than we did when we first came over here. Like, when we first came over here, we had stronger results with half the sub count. So it's like, congrats, you doubled your sub count, and we fiddled with something, and now no one knows you're live, so you're only going to stream to your core, like your super core committed audience. Just really irritating. It's like I put so much work. I put so much work into every stream. We research, outlines, get everything set, and then YouTube's like, yeah, well, it's fine. We're not going to help you, though. How many subs is the big channel at? It was like 47,000 when we walked away from it. Might have creeped into 48,000. I can't remember. We came over here and there was only 6,000 subs. It was actually just under 6,000. It was like 5.8 or something. And we've had great success. And now all of a sudden I'm like, I don't understand. I feel like you just set back 6 months of work. It's what it feels like. It's like we've been set back 6 months. It's like This is what we were dealing with 6 months ago. Roughly 200 people, maybe $2,000 to stream, and we're actually, I think we're underperforming when we first came over here on some of these videos. It's like, what the frig? Like, I know the news is light, but it was light back then. We were 164 subs away from 50K. We were that close to 50K? Really? I didn't remember being that close. You're 8th to 10th down on my opening page, and I watch you daily longer than anyone else. Although I just go to subs to make sure I find you right away. Don't know if that's helpful feedback. Yeah, I don't know what they're fiddling with. I don't know what they're fiddling with. Can you discuss anything with your account manager? We're getting handed off to a new account manager. He's like the guy that I had switching to something else. So people really rely on the recommendation feed on the homepage. If it's not there, they don't care. Yeah, and that's why we had like 2 weeks where I was like, this is working. Like, I'm covering non-Elden Ring stuff, and we're crushing it. And then all of a sudden last week, I was like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, we have way less people at the start, and then we have way less people the first hour. And when that happens, it's like we're dead in the water. It's like I might as well not even be live. It's so frustrating. And then if you talk about it, it makes it worse. So it's like I did my best all last week. Like, it finally got to me near the end of the week, and I started talking about it because I was like, what the frick is going on? Like, I'm having people coming in and they're literally saying, I can't see that you're live. Like, I try not to. I did everything I could last week to not focus on it. And then here we are again. It's like, okay, well, I don't understand. What do you want me to do, YouTube? Sit here for 6 hours a day while you figure it out? Lono's always in my feed, but I've had zero interest in all the Elden Ring stuff, just not my game. That's so funny that you weren't interested in what we covered for such a long time, and yet I'm still in your feed. It's so random. Every day you did the Elden Ring streams, you were everywhere on my YouTube, always being suggested. Yeah, I don't know. They fiddled with something. You were the only person I would look for in my sub feed, Lono. All my other activity is the main recommends page. It doesn't make any sense. Are the other channels that you engage with Distorted, are they live, or am I the only live one that you interact with? Because it sounds to me like they're fiddling with live stream placement. You're always in my feed, Elden or not. You think Holy Week and like the week leading to it could hit you? I don't know what you mean. When we first came over here, we covered a smattering of topics and we always did okay. I don't know. It coincided with, they adjusted some things last week with the UI. That's what it coincided with. And creatures like, they're just breaking people's expectations. And because they're breaking people's expectations, it's fiddling with, consistency. People are opening up the app and things aren't the same. Or they're opening up the browser and things aren't the same. And it causes engagement to go down because people don't know that they don't know that they need to do anything different. Wouldn't Elden Ring's popularity, so it puts you up top? I don't understand the algorithm at all. Well, yeah, when you cover one game, especially a game that's hot, yes, that helps. But, like, I don't expect us to pivot to, like, Max Payne remakes and have a banger of a day. But I expect people that engage with the content daily to not have to, like, go searching for it. I think that's the thing that's irritating me, is, like, I'm not stupid. I know when we pick weak news leads, I'm like, this is going to be a weak day. It's not going to be super strong. But when people are telling me that they're struggling to find me and my content and that I'm live, like, that's like, what's actually happening then? Like, and then today, every time I mentioned the member initiatives, it just drove viewership down. So then it's like doubly frustrating. It's like, okay, well, I guess I can't talk about that because it'll just drive away any potential new viewers because, like, the culture over here is different. So I don't know exactly what we're supposed to do. You're the only live feed I regularly watch. The only one I've joined. I do see stuff in my feed from other channels I've subbed to, but I have no idea if it's everything. I watch mostly live streams, and YouTube is showing me maybe 50% of the time when the stream is live. Yeah. I just found this channel from searching Halo Infinite. So okay, so yeah, we're getting, that's why I know for a fact it's not a shadow ban. I'm not conspiracy theorist, oh my gosh, YouTube's, no, I know that's not the case. Because there are people that find us from search. And if you find me from search, then that means we're totally fine. It's just, I'm telling you, that's what it is. It's that we have 13-something thousand subs, and there's a big percentage of them, for whatever reason, aren't seeing my streams. And when that happens, everything trickles from that. So instead of having 100 to 110 people at start, I've got like 60. I'm like, okay. And then the first hour, instead of being like, hey, first 15 to 20 minutes, we have 250 people. No, I barely can get into the 200 viewers in the first 20 minutes. Like, everything has slowed down, and it's all based on that UI change that they did. We're not getting thrown in front of people. So the ritual gets broken, and when the ritual gets broken, like everything breaks down from there. Get 13K subs. I mean, we're on our way to hitting 14. That's the thing. Like, everything's been going really, really well, and then all of a sudden, like I said, they made that change last week, and it's like what am I supposed to do? I don't understand. Like, I have regulars coming in. They're like, I didn't even know you were live. I didn't even know you were live. Just now, I have 3 lives, including you. 1 premiering now and 1 set reminder. Your first stream's normally on top for me. The ones after that, however, are hit or miss. Yeah, everything seems to stem from the first stream, Skip. We know how the rest of the day is going to go if the first stream kind of falls flat. I thought maybe this triple topic would pull us out of the fire, but it just didn't. Like, we hit 250 and it just stopped. We were like, how many hours? We were 20 minutes in, we hit 250. I was like, oh, okay, that's a good start. And then it was like a ceiling. It was like we just bam, we just hit it and stopped and just stayed there. And when that happens, what's going on is like we basically have been kicked off the whatever runner we were on. And so we're mainly only streaming to the people that came over at that point. Play to your strength until the wheels fall off. Well, that's the problem, is it's so tough, because if we start ending early and get sour about it, that'll help the metrics, right? If I get an hour and a half in and I'm like, frick this, let's bail, or let's go do this too early, then you're breaking pattern. And if you do that too much, you're going to make things worse. I notice community posts are hitting my feed more than live does. Yeah, it's possible. Anytime we go live, I could just hit the feed and let people know, like, hey, we're live today, and these are the 2 streams, and this is what we're talking about. I don't know. The problem with that is I don't want to start, like, annoying people. You know what I mean? You can overcompensate. Maybe make the first stream longer instead of broken up. No, we don't want to do that. We definitely don't want to do that. Nothing's always better than bad. Yeah, but if we just don't go live when we don't have good... I'm not kidding you. I was tempted last night when I looked at the gaming news and I looked at the interest on YouTube. I was tempted to be like, nah. What's the point? And then when we get the results we get, I'm like, maybe I was right. Maybe we shouldn't have gone live. You know? Maybe if we're not live every day of the week, the streams will perform better. We'll have more to talk about. Maybe a bigger story will break. But then it's like, you have to weigh it. You're like, but if we do that, are we going to break trust with the daily audience? Are we going to lose members? Are we going to lose subs? Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, there's definitely that temptation to be like, well, we don't have anything strong. Forget it. We won't go live until we do. No, I'm not. I don't. A collab is not. It's not. No. We need YouTube to land the plane. That's what we need. I need YouTube to land the plane. They're fiddling with live streams and live stream placement. That's great. It's encouraging. Well, they got to land the plane, because I can't do this for weeks on end. I can't literally just suddenly be like throwing away live time because they're fiddling with stuff. So, you know, if we have another rough week, that's fine. We've had plenty of rough weeks before. I need YouTube to land the plane. Need them to land the plane so that I can go live, do the show, and not sweat any of this crap. I appreciate that, Hex. Like, I'm glad they're working on stuff. It's just been so slow. They talked about gifted memberships and better live discoverability in the middle of last year. Well, it's April, and all you've successfully done is hurt the momentum I was having. That's all you've successfully done. We still don't have gifted memberships, and now, like, live discoverability is apparently really bad because I can't get anything going no matter what I talk about. Like, last week, I was like, I talked with Creature. I was like, okay, let's just accept that, you know, things have slowed down. That's fine. If we can pull 2 to 3K a live stream, that's a good day. That's a good day. And now we're struggling to hit that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Is this another downward spiral that we've experienced before? Right? Is this YouTube fiddling with something? Like, you know what I mean? It's always very disruptive when they're making changes, but what choice do they have? They can't turn the platform off. Right, like we just kind of have to like ride it. You know what I mean? We just have to ride it. I'm here for the takes and the discussion, not specific topics. Well, and see, that was another idea that I had. I was like, well, I saw a guy, he had about, I forget how many subs he had. He had a good number of subs. And what he was doing was, he was periodically going live. Here he is. Let's see. 88,000. Okay, so it's a pretty good sized channel. It's about 88,000. And so some of his streams were literally just he would pick 3 topics and like that's the title. Kind of like what we did today, right? If you look at the title of this episode, it's Halo Infinite Season 2, Metroid Dread Boss Rush, and Returnal Game of the Year, right? And we shoot out like a cannon. We start strong, we're having a debate, and then after 30 minutes I can tell we're dead in the water. We like, I don't know what YouTube did, but it's like we're only really streaming for the people that came with us. We're not getting put in front of new people, okay? And so when I was looking at what he was doing, I was like, what if we just started doing like a video game news show and didn't worry so much about this unless we had like a really good topic. But again, the problem with that is you have to have volume to do that. You can't just boot up with like a generic name like, hey, it's Reforge Gaming News, episode 205. We don't have that luxury. We've got to have something to attach to, because if not, we don't have the volume yet. When you get to 50,000 subs and above, well, then it's a little bit different. You can start to really ride your audience's volume. Like, we're just going to boot up and hang out, and plenty of people show up regardless, and then the algorithm picks you up because you have enough people hanging out. Right now, what the reason we're falling behind and we're slipping down is because we just don't have enough people showing up at the beginning, and it's not their fault. I don't think a lot of them know that I'm live. Like, if I was driving the car, we went live today with Gaming Drought, this sucks. If you were driving the car, that's what we would have went live with. Yeah, but then what do we do tomorrow? What do we do if every day's a drought? How long did it take you to get to 13.8? It took us 6 months to get basically let's just round that up to 14, and let's just say we were at 6 when we came over here. So that's 8,000. It took us 6 months to get 8,000 subs. It was pretty fast. December, January, and February were huge for us because everyone was looking forward to February. February was like, finally, new games, because usually January is terrible on YouTube. But January was great for gaming channels because we were all anticipating February. Like, February was huge, right? All these games finally landed. So we had great growth, and so I don't expect growth patterns to stay the same. That's ludicrous. I know things like that will slow down. So sub growth slows down. That's not a problem. There's no cause for alarm. I'm irritated that I have people saying they can't find me. That's when I get irritated. I've been through this before, and it's just like, it's gutting, and it crushes you, and it takes money for it. Literally takes money from you, because it all compounds from there. When your loyal folks can't find you, everything ripples out from that. You don't meet as many new people. You don't trend. You don't get subs. You don't get recommended. And then the next day, same thing. YouTube's like, well, you're underperforming. And then it treats you like you got to earn it. And it's like, man, I feel like we've already done this. I was working on squeezing blood from a stone for 9 months, and it really felt like it was starting to pay off. And then the slats got kicked out from under us last week. I know you already know this, but you stopped appearing on my recommend. Yeah. And like, look at that. That's a paying member. That's at least a 6-month badge. So that's somebody who's a paying member for more than half a year, and I'm not on his recommended. I still look for you in the sidebar every day. See what I'm saying? How, like, you have to think about how many people are having that experience and they don't know that it's happening. They just think, I had a guy last week, he's like, I thought you took like a week off. He's like, I couldn't find you. I'm like, think about that. All it takes is a couple thousand people a day for that to happen to, and then your numbers are gutted. You know? It paid off. You got me as a sub. How's Reforge Radio doing? Reforge Radio is fine, and the thing that I don't want to do is when this is happening, it's tempting to just lick our wounds and run over to Reforge Radio, and I don't want to do that. So today on Reforge Radio, we're talking about Will Smith getting banned from the Oscars for 10 years and like losing movie deals. Like, he's basically getting canceled over like this one thing, and I want to talk about I want to know what you guys think, because I know what I think about it. But if we run over there early, we're going to make that channel unpredictable. I want that channel to be predictable because we're getting good results. Like, the turnout's great. I don't know if we'll be able to drive member incentives with the Madam thing. We'll see, right? We'll see. You can't look at it that way? Sure I can. The one day we did it, we got 30 minutes into the episode, and everyone's like, you're over here early? You're over here early? All of a sudden, people started storming in at 3 o'clock, and they were like, oh, I didn't realize you came over here early. No, I'm not doing it. I'm telling you, man, we know on gaming what works. Wham, wham, wham. Same time. And then things start to turn. Being fluid's not being unpredictable. If that channel gets one live stream a day, it needs to happen at roughly the same time every single day. It needs to. 100%. Everything I know about live streaming on Purple and YouTube, everything I've learned is the minute the consistency hits after a couple of months, things start to turn. What we're experiencing right now is YouTube fiddling with stuff. And I think that's the worst mistake we could make, is we start fiddling with stuff. Try to get on Timcast IRL. I don't even know how to get on a show like that. I don't mean to pile on this, but if I ever miss 2 days in a row, recommendations plummet. That's normal, though. There's nothing I can do about that. Like, I have people like Zubair telling me he had to look for me. Zubair is literally here every day, right? A $10 tip from Mr. Glum. So I subscribe to some other people who go live, but my problem is most people go live during the workday, so I never get to support people like you. People treat me like radio for their workday, but some people can't listen while they're at work. So I appreciate the $10 tip, and I can't stream in the evenings. I'm a family man, so like it's just not really possible. That's why the Friday evening stream is like an extra thing. It's a member perk, right? Distorted says, if you know there's no news worth having a stream, might as well just have 2 gameplay streams instead. Could play 2 different games. First stream showcase, the second one Elden Ring or something. So, and what did Swade say? Make the black and white Lethal Ghost run as the backup stream. Right. So, one of the challenges with that is we know the morning talk show needs to happen, or we'll lose members, because we'll lose regular visitors. Like, that's a thing for so many people. There's at least 200, there's like a 200 core group that no matter what is going on, they're here because I'm doing a talk show. So we can't do that. Now, I like the idea of when news is weak, having a game to fall back on. We can't keep falling back on Elden Ring because that's going to put us in a rut that we kind of have already sensed. I don't dislike the idea, though, of being like, let's just go play a game. Right? Yo, Metanoia doing a membership. Thank you so much, Metanoia. Enjoy the dope badge and emotes. Guys, don't forget, we did just launch membership initiatives. So, all week long, you can use the question command in chat. So if you want me to talk about another topic or another thing and I'm not covering it, you can use that question command. It'll bank a question for Thursday. There'll be an extra stream on Thursdays. It'll be members only. And then Friday nights is members only. I'll be streaming with my wife every Friday night. Once a month, that Friday night is a community game night. And this month, we're doing Fortnite no-build squads, okay? So, Friday, April 22nd, if you're a member, make sure you have Fortnite ready to go. If you're like, I don't like Fortnite, we're going to be drinking and laughing and playing the no-build mode. You don't take it that serious, all right? So if you're a member, you can be here that Friday night. Or really any Friday night that I'm playing with my wife. But on that Friday night, we'll be playing with the community. The day we started radio early, I had no idea, but I wasn't on the gameplay. Yeah. I don't dislike the idea of like having a fallback series that we're working on, like the let's play through Ghost of Tsushima on Lethal and put it in black and white and just have like a really nice playlist for that. I don't know. I just worry that is so early. Like, we're not big enough to do that. It would just be really discouraging because then that would perform terribly and it would sour the experience. I'll download it and come along to encourage other members to come. Like, if think of it this way. Friday night is just an opportunity on a community game night. It's literally just an opportunity to play a game and not care and just like throw back a couple of drinks and laugh at how silly the game is that we're playing. Whether it's Warzone, Fortnite, Fall Guys, or what's the other one? Fortnite, Warzone, Fall Guys, or Halo Infinite. Yo, Mr. Glum, brand new person found us today and pushing the join button. I appreciate it. Like, Here's the thing. I don't want to spend this week talking about this. It's really hard not to when it's like, what are we supposed to do? So I got to tune you guys in to like, man, YouTube's having problems and we're trying to sort it out. Like, try to check the channel every day. I might not be in your recommends, but I'm live every day. Check the channel every day. Like, I got to kind of get the word out. But I don't want to spend all week talking about this. So what we got to do as a community is we've got to commit to just, and I've got to commit to just like, we got to stay on some type of a subject. And triple topic may not work. Maybe we'll try it again if we feel like we've got some better topics. Halo Infinite's been kind of inconsistent for us, and both Returnal and Metroid Dread are pretty low on like awareness and relevancy. So we may try triple topic again if we feel like we've got like a good one. But we got to we got to just do our best to just, when the chat comes to a screeching halt and I'm like, we're not talking about the topics and we're all kind of just like sitting here staring at each other, we've got to have like a, I don't know, something that we do to get a debate going or like something so that we don't do this. Because I'll lose track of time if I'm in a debate. Like, I won't look at the numbers if I'm in a debate. But if I'm not in a debate, it's just like I'm sitting here, I'm like, what are we supposed to do? No one cared about these topics. What? You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Mo debated for like 30 to 40 minutes, and I was like, well, now what are we going to do? Don't do triple topic. Man, but people do it. It works for some people. Maybe you just have to be a bigger channel. You know what I mean? I don't know. You're the entertainer. You should be telling us what to talk about. Well, yeah, but I mean, no, it's symbiotic, right? We're all in this together. I can't be the only one driving it, right? Yo, Dan's Atastic renewing says, hey, there we go. Yeah, some people have been struggling to renew their memberships. At least 2 or 3 people have said they can't renew, and I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, that's another thing that they've been fiddling with. Like, Nighthawk and I have been chatting. Find some recurring segments to fall back on. Reforge Revisited, Reforge Rewind, Reforge Retro. Right. How about a topic and a top 5 of something? I don't know. Debating with Mo. That can't be a segment. I think just every day remind people of the few days and times you stream, what kind of content you offer, so that any new members know to look for you, even if they don't see you at the top of the page. Right. I just leave it auto-charging. One topic has led to other side topics, which is one of my favorite things we do. Yo, Danny coming in with a membership. I'll be honest with you. If the membership initiatives work, that really matters more than viewership. I'm not kidding you at all. Like, if you guys get behind this idea of like, hey, if I'm a member, I get an extra stream on Thursday and this Madam stream, and this community game night stream, that all sounds great. So welcome, Danny. Those are all things you could take advantage of. Like, viewership can flounder for a few weeks while YouTube sorts things out. If membership's going up on the channels, I don't give a frick. Like, I don't give a frick. It's like that's primarily what we're trying to do, is we're trying to come up with like, hey, listen, gaming news is feast or famine, but we can still have really great segments throughout the week that, you know, that are worth showing up for, and even extra stuff for members. Like, you know what I mean? People love console war stuff. Chat goes super fast those days. It does. It really, really does. It really does. I'm double dipping. Does that mean I don't have to show up? That's not what I said, Abe. No. The reason why Mo thing Lono doesn't want to happen is in the next emote slot will be Mo. How many members are viable? If I'm telling you, I think 500 members on each channel. Like, we stalled out in the 400s and just couldn't go anywhere. So my hope is we'll do these incentives and we'll see people like, oh, this is dope. I want to be here for the extra stuff, right? Appreciate all the work you do. Always lurking. Thank you, GC Plugs. Yeah, I'm not. If somebody can't afford a membership, that's not what we have in mind. What we have in mind is like, can we offer stuff that makes someone say, I mean, I can afford it, but I don't have a reason to. And now you gave me a reason to. Do you know what I'm saying? We're already seeing people respond well to the membership initiatives. Like, they're already saying, oh, yeah, I'll hit the button for that. That sounds dope. That sounds fun. That sounds good, right? Longtime lurker. Started watching you when you were covering the other game. Your content gets me through the workday, so it's about time to support. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, like, the thing that I'm trying to navigate is I have a ton of things I'm supposed to mention. Coffee, memberships, shirt. And when I mention those things, it's super disruptive to the show. So I started prioritizing the show. Like, I would never mention those things. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're not selling coffee. Our coffee sales are down. Oh my gosh, we're not getting members. Our memberships are down. And it's like, well, now what do we do? Well, then I start trying to do it, and it's like, I feel like it's like I'm stepping on my own toes. I'm like, oh. And then I won't do it. It's why I don't like running ads. I just want the live show to be dope, and I feel like those things super, super interfere. But we need them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I had my way, I would never have to mention that stuff. I would just like sit here and just talk, and none of that crap would matter. That's when we have that's when I feel I'm experiencing like the best days when we do that. But I can't be that lax. Like, it's sad, but I can't be that lax. I have to mention those things. Timed commands that promote stuff, people tend to ignore the timed commands, so we only have a couple. We want to remind people to make sure they're watching live, and then I think like there's 2 more, like a join one and one for the Discord. If you pay for Game Pass, you can pay for a membership with Lono. I want to join soon. I want a joystick and want to tune in for Friday nights just to see if your wife ever slaps you. She verbally chops me up. People really like how much crap she talks to me. Through all the ads, I'll watch them, let it go. Bathroom breaks every 30. No. Yo, welcome back, Deafside. Thank you for renewing your membership. I appreciate that very, very much. Do you have any 5-tier members? We have a couple, yeah. You got members-only streams, Madam streams, member game nights, lofty badges, a bunch of emotes, a ton more member-specific rooms in the Discord. Yeah. I mean, could it help to have a meme of sorts for the offerings? Like, take a sip of coffee and say... Yeah, I try to do that sometimes. Yeah. Like, make it a joke. Yeah. See, the Game Pass is why we can't get members. Did you do a starting soon screen? No. We don't like doing a starting soon screen, Crazy Cliff, because when someone clicks on the VOD later, they're immediately getting content, and that's how we design it that way on purpose. Listen, the show has been amazing. You guys have been amazing. The conversations have been amazing. I can tell that YouTube's fiddling with stuff, and it just got to me. It was like, what the frick, man? December, January, February, and March, we just crushed it. And our reward is, welcome to April, no one knows you're live. It's like, I have been more satisfied with the content that we've created, both on Reforge Radio and Gaming. I've been more satisfied with this content than I probably ever have been, with any content that I've ever made. It's really hard to do what we do when YouTube is hurting momentum. Because what we do, you need people. We need people here. You need chat. You need an audience, right? It's organic. It's like, I feel for people that try to do content and like can't get that recurring chat activity and community activity. Like, we have that. YouTube's just fiddling with stuff. So we're just gonna have to ride it. We're just gonna have to ride it. You leveled up, here's the new algorithm boss. Right, exactly. Even last week, that was part of my frustration. I was like, we're doing good stuff. I was like, these shows have been great. Because the one day I told Creature, I said, I didn't even realize that we were having a bad day. I didn't even realize. We're talking, we're chopping it up. I go to do the next stream, and I check the numbers. I'm like, huh? I was like, what? Like, chat was humming. We were having a debate. It was awesome. And then I went and looked, and I was like, wait a minute. What is going on? Why are we doing so poorly? And he told me, he's like, oh, they updated the UI and it's messing with stuff. So we thought, oh, maybe it's a glitch, maybe something's happening. And then it just felt like it slowly got worse. And then today I could really feel it. I could even feel it with the chat. I was like, we're not getting that it's like a rhythm, it's like a rhythm, and I can tell when the rhythm's off. So, and maybe when the rhythm's off, we just say, hey guys, this topic's not cutting it. What do you guys want to talk about? Is there any games? Turn it into just like an on-the-fly AMA. Because like it gets to the point where it's like, we're not going to turn the rudder on it. YouTube didn't give us any love on, like, let's say right now, or this morning, like, we're talking Max Payne remakes. We had some great conversations, but like after an hour, it's like, okay, we're out of steam on this topic. And YouTube doesn't care. So what do you guys want to talk about, right? YouTube heard you say Revenge of the Sith wasn't a great movie, and they didn't like that. You see, the conversation we have been in for the last 2 hours, this is why they should give me the ability to lock you out of analytics. So I can't see anything. See, the problem is, maybe I should do this. Can I check? Let me click on something. Okay, this is what I'm going to start doing then. I can see the view count and I can see the like count, and that doesn't really mess with me. When I can see the analytics and see the total view count, that's what fiddles with my brain. There's a tab called Viewer Activity, which just shows me any recent members that I might have missed. And I got a new one from Def and a new one from Danny, it says, right? And I can see badge colors, so I know that Def's not a new. So I just need to go to that tab and stop looking at it, and it'll just sort itself out in a couple of weeks. YouTube's fiddling with the shorts things too much. I hope that fad passes. I've heard from other channels that shorts is negatively affecting them. Yeah, we stopped doing shorts, Suede, because like we would have really good shorts and we wouldn't make any money on them. And I was like, what? And then some really big streamers like exposed the whole thing. They were like, we 14 million views, you know, and they made like no money. And we loved shorts in the beginning. Shorts in the beginning were amazing. We'd get anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 views on a short, and it paid great. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I do this? Every night I can do a short. It clues the audience into what's going on the channel, and it's easily monetized because it's so short. Well, then we just stopped making money on them. I'm like, well, I'm not doing this. I don't like them anyway. I don't like short form content. So maybe time to go shorter, like 2 hours instead of 3. Yeah, I actually think we need to go to 222 on this channel. That's what I think. But that'll probably burn me out. 222 is pretty tough. And the problem with 222 is you probably would end every day on a really, really weak note. Like, first and second streams are pretty good, and then that third stream would almost every time be the weakest of the bunch. So every day you're ending with on a bad note, and I don't know what YouTube. Maybe I shouldn't think in that realm, but I think YouTube would look at that and be like, you know. But if it all happens in the same day, maybe not. Who the frick knows? Because maybe that's how we could get the series in. You just need to be you and do your thing. It's human nature to get frustrated when expectations aren't met. And we had so many months of work and grind and work and grind and prep and work and grind and prep. And it was like, this is it. It's going. We're getting that momentum. And like Sisyphus, the boulder rolled back down the hill. And I was like, what? This isn't supposed to happen, right? It does what it feels like. It feels like Sisyphus. It was like, what? 2 streams, 2 hours each. We could do that, and then we could go over to maybe go over to radio earlier. We could slowly back radio up, right? Maybe. And then that would help me and Creature, because we've been having our phone calls cut short, and it's like I'm scrambling to plan the next day. Cello Beast with a brand new membership. See, this is what I like to see. If people are responding to the member initiatives, then I just need to shut up and put on a show, right? I just need to get over it. And welcome, enjoy the dope badge and emotes, enjoy the extra content as a member. You can Thursday afternoon there's an extra stream, and Friday night's a stream with my wife, or the once a month community game night, and we hope to see you there for that. Complete the sentence. Expectations are the devil? The Returnal tie-in? What did I tie it in? Oh, no. That's not the Returnal tie-in. That's the Greek myth. Sisyphus, baby. I actually would have said that even if Returnal hadn't named it the Tower of Sisyphus, or the Sisyphus Tower, whatever it's called. Nobody knows what it actually wants. They test and sometimes it works. I keep trying to see the silver lining in it, Danzatastic. It means they're giving live streams priority. They're trying to figure them out. Like, they want to see how can we position live streams on YouTube and have them flourish. Because the last thing they want to do is start shoving live streams in people's faces, and then it performs poorly and frustrates the users. So they're probably being very careful with it. You know what I mean? Who knows? That week where people kept telling me, yo, bro, I've never seen you before and you're in my recommended, they might have gotten really bad metrics from that. We don't know. They might have been too aggressive and they were shoving live streams in front of people that don't want them. And they're like, well, we got to tone it down. People didn't like that. And now maybe they've overcorrected. Maybe the first stream for 4 hours, it gets better traction than the next 2. We have found that it's actually far better to keep streams shorter than longer. You definitely don't want streams to exceed 3. At least, I mean, actually, our original findings was you don't want them to exceed 4. Once you go beyond 4, it's a waste. And we found a nice sweet spot with you guys and the topics. It seemed to be that 3 was a sweet spot, but it's just hard because it's sort of it's not really a thing. What radio show do you tune into where they talk about the same thing for 3 hours? Most radio shows, even interviews or podcasts, they'll be on that topic for maybe an hour to an hour and a half, and then they shift to something else. Expectations are the thief of joy? No, comparison is the thief of joy. That's the quote. Expectations are the thief of joy is not the quote. I mean, unless you're making it your own. I think expectations are vitally important. They're important in relationships and they're important in business. And right now, I have to adjust my expectations. My expectations have to be that we're in whatever we're in right now, whatever we want to call it. We're just in it. We're in a valley. And when you're in a valley, you just got to push through it. You can't do anything else. Yo, what's good, Feed? Good to see you in the chat. Rogan rattles about the same stuff for 7 hours. Yeah, it's a little bit different, though, because he's got somebody he's interviewing, so he can kind of keep it going. And they get way off on all kinds of tangents on his show. Maybe clickbait titles would help. Can you believe what they're doing in Halo? The reason I don't like doing that is we have like a certain level of like trust and respect with the audience, and they'd get annoyed by that. They'd be like, what are you doing, Lono? Like, I run a pretty top shelf ship here, like, and I feel like that's not something I want to do. The last thing you want to do is suddenly make the people that see you in their sub feed, they're like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like, we can have big circles and arrows in my face, like doing that, and people would say, People would say no. They would get very angry. Please no clickbait, even if I won't believe number 7. Right. Creature says, 10 reasons you'll unsub from this channel. You won't believe number 7. Used to talk about how bad the Strike playlist was for 6 hours a day. Well, the funny thing is, Dan's Fantastic, is that's one. There's pluses and minuses, right? So when you're only covering one game, this is something that I thought about the other day. Because I was like, why was that possible? You know? Why was that possible? Well, it was possible because the core audience kind of grew to love the rants, and they grew to love me sort of repeating those rants and talking points. But the rest of the audience was like, I've never heard him talk about this before. You know? I'm here most of the time, and yeah. Oh, he ranted about this 2 days ago? I didn't know that. Yeah, I wasn't here for that. You see what I'm saying? It's like you almost always have like a fresh batch of people to the rant, and then they're won over by it. It's kind of like stand-up comedy, right? It's a practice routine, so you've heard the joke before, and you think it's funny, but then it's almost like, well, today I'm not in Cleveland. Today I'm in New York. think about it like that. Like, there's enough new people in the audience that hear the bit, that hear the joke, that hear the rant, and they're like, oh, this is fantastic. So that's one of the benefits of only covering one game. That's a huge benefit because you're always retreading those topics, and then my ability to concisely break down each topic gets faster and faster and faster. So what ends up happening is the audience is sort of like, oh yeah, this is great, right? I was always interested in what dumb take from the world. Yeah, we would always get people to come in, and that was something people loved. They loved somebody to come in and have like a stupid hot take on Destiny, and I would shred them, and people loved that. That's really tough to do in variety because like we're not in the same game every day, so we're not getting to do that, right? So you got to be ranting is the key. maybe that's the key. I've noticed this might be because of autoplay. YouTube introduced autoplay for live streams. When I get loud and expressive and I'm going like this, I notice that we get a bump, right? I notice that we get a bump in viewership because I think people see it. They're like, what's this guy yelling about? It sounds reasonable. I can't help but feel like YouTube's trying to evolve and compete with Purple and TikTok all at once. Yeah, TikTok's size is just insane to me. I'm trying really hard to get 1,000 followers over there because I really want to experiment with their live streaming. No, Wish isn't doing anything anymore, RT. No, as far as I know, he's not doing any content creation at all. One of the factors that had me join was because you do not use clickbaitish thumbnails and titles. Yeah, we have a very loyal core, and I think that's why I got a little... I've been pretty good about ignoring metrics. Like, once we came over here in September, it's been 6 months, and I kind of stopped talking about it. I just put my chin down and pushed. And some days I'd be like, wow, I thought this topic was really going to pull. I guess it didn't. And then I'd kind of move on. Like, I wouldn't get bogged down, and it was like, oh, man, I thought this topic was going to be a banger. Guess not. Oh, well. But when I start feeling like that core audience isn't here and it's not their fault, that's when I get irritated. I'm like, okay, listen. If the core audience shows up every day, we'll be totally fine. If YouTube starts chopping that part off, like, I can't help it if, like, the general public, like, a great example is when we covered Returnal. Remember? So Returnal had that huge update. I was really excited, and we covered it. We didn't do terrible. Do you want to know why? Because the core audience showed up. They know I love Returnal, and they're like, I want to see what Lono has to say. When we did the gameplay, the core audience was there, but what did I say? The YouTube audience isn't looking for this. They don't care. Okay? Well, I can take that on the chin. That's nothing to take personal. It's like, okay, if people aren't searching, like right now, if I decided to cover like, hey guys, here's an amazing build for Diablo 1, it would do poor. Why? It would do poorly because no one's searching for that. So you can't take it personal when a topic isn't highly searched or highly relevant. I got frustrated last week and this week because it's like, okay, YouTube, we doubled our sub count, and I'm not feeling the results of that because you're not putting my content in front of my subs. Like, you put my content in front of my subs, and I'll be just fine. I'll ride the highs and the lows of relevancy. But I start having super loyal subs come in, and they're like, I didn't even know you were live, and buddy, that sets me off. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Like, we are busting our butt creating a stupid amount of content, and you're not putting me in front of my audience? What the frick are you doing? When PS Plus goes live, maybe you could revisit just to show it off, right? Yeah. Just to show it off. Like, hey, if you haven't checked out Returnal yet, let me show you what it's like. Let me show you what the co-op's like. I would love to play a full run with somebody in the co-op. I think that'd be really fun. To do a full Returnal run of somebody in co-op. You just be you, someone else control the flow. I mean, that sounds nice, but that's not really possible. The flow is largely dictated by audience reception to a topic and audience willingness to debate. Like if right now, if I booted up tomorrow and said, all right, guys, tomorrow we're going to debate which game was better, you know, Cooking Mama 1 or Cooking Mama 2, so many of you would show up and be like, I have nothing to add to the conversation, Lono. There's nothing for me to say. It might be funny for 15 minutes, but do you see what I'm saying? The organic relationship with the live environment, like it has to like spin up. There's like a spin up period. Like if in the first 30 to 40 minutes we can spin up, what happens is that kind of carries the debate and the dialogue for the next like hour to 2 hours. If there's no spin up, I can feel it. I'm like, yep, we picked the dud, you know? Clearly Cooking Mama 1 is superior. Clearly. So I was just using that as an example. Like, if you have nothing to offer to the conversation, it's unfair for me to expect you to. So that's part of the dilemma with variety, is some of the times you guys are like, oh, I'm just here for the conversation. I don't even care about this game. And it's like, I need somebody to care, or we're not going to have anything to talk about, if that makes sense. There should be a window on PC that shows live streams from your subscriptions. Gaming Talk Radio should be in your title, I think, every day. Yeah, like, the dilemma there is, with the way that YouTube works, you don't want to overwhelm your title with stuff that's not relevant to, like, search. Does that make sense? Now, maybe we could try to find a way to neatly put it on the thumbnail, so when people see me in Searching Suggest, they're not just reacting to whatever keyword, like whatever words I flash on the thumbnail. They might be like, Gaming Talk Radio, what the frick is that? Right? It's tough, because with the thumbnail, if you put too much on it, it doesn't work. People's eyes gloss over it because it's too busy. If it's too busy, your brain makes the decision for you. You don't look at it. Go search for something on YouTube and scroll, and you will find yourself, like, go back through and be like, I didn't even see that thumbnail. Yeah, you didn't, because it was too busy. Like, do it as a test. Your brain and your eyeballs will make the decision for you. You will literally scroll past thumbnails because there's too much going on. Your brain and your eyeballs reject it. It's like, too busy. Too busy. And you just keep scrolling. So, like, there's an art form to keeping a thumbnail, like, attention grabbing without literally puking. Like, there's too much on there. So I actually feel like our thumbnails have been very good, and I've not once felt like, oh, you know, we underperformed today because of a thumbnail. This is a technical thing. It's not really when we were back on the other channel, we didn't know what the frick was going on, right? Like, we were no longer covering Destiny, so it was like we were just getting punished left, right, and center in the algorithm and in the sub behavior, right? The sub behavior was terrible. And it wasn't their fault, but because the subs were like, well, you're no longer covering Destiny, so what's the point in being here? That's not necessarily their fault. Over here, the sub behavior has been phenomenal, but then YouTube fiddled with something, and now it's hurting us, and it's just like, it's super discouraging, because it's like, I'm only as good as the funnel, right? Like, I can't kind of create momentum out of thin air. I gotta have that. Like that funnel and that activity. Gaming Talk Radio could be a hashtag. Do people search for that? Yeah, I don't know. It'd be nice to have a way for people to know you touch on topics not in the title, but that's tough. Well, the way I think about it is this. Yo, Mr. Glum, thank you again for a $10 tip. You've been super generous today. I just wanted to point out that I joined the membership due to myself personally needing a good talk show, and y'all seem like a good group to catch the latest news with. Well, I appreciate that. That's really kind. The word gaming isn't tagged yet. I love the talk show aspect of it. What was I going to say? Do people search for that? Gaming Talk Radio. Do people search for that? Oh, I was going to say something and I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say. I love the talk show aspect of it. Right. Yeah, I don't know if tons of people come to YouTube and search specifically for what we do. We've gotten really good response from people that have found the show. You know, like even people that were unfamiliar with me and the show, when they found us in December and January, we had lots of people that were like, this is cool. Like I've never, and you know, we had really good response. And I was like, oh wow, there's people on YouTube that dig what we do, right? My bad. No, you're fine. You can disrupt my train of thought with money anytime you want. It was like, oh, this is pretty dope. And then January, I actually thought we were going to suffer in January because apparently like that's like the worst month in YouTube. But it was actually huge for us because everybody was anticipating all the game releases in February. Balancing discoverability and still being fluid with the topics is a tough one. It's hard to tell what people are going to search for or what's going to trigger a recommendation. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So largely what we've done, this has been kind of our approach and our thought, is let's say on a Monday we cover there's news about Max Payne. And then on Tuesday we cover news about Halo. And then on Wednesday we cover news about Ashes of Creation. And then on Thursday we cover news about, you know, I don't even know, Returnal sequel or something. And then Friday we cover From Software games, right? So the goal of that is every day we're meeting different people, and those games that they're a fan of, that game is a catalyst to meeting them. But then they're like, yo, this talk show's so dope, I'm going to come back no matter what. Now, not every person that lands in the channel is going to say that. So what you're doing is you're basically putting out a bunch of different little buckets, or picture like little Dixie cups. You're putting out all these little cups and you're covering all these different topics and all these different things. And little by little, people are falling into those cups and they're like, anytime he talks Halo, I'm here. Or anytime he talks From Software, I'm here. And then you have the people that come no matter what. And so what you're doing is you're building a diverse audience. If you build a one-dimensional audience and you put out one bucket and all you cover is that game, the minute you put out another bucket, nothing lands in it. And people are like, why are you talking about that? Like having a Destiny channel on YouTube for 6 years and then suddenly not talking about Destiny. So what we're trying to do here, and we know that in doing this you're going to have highs and lows, that's not the problem, is we're just trying to cover basically everything that I can talk passionately about. And it's worked really, really well. It has. We just have to ride this out, basically. Like, it's tough for me to mentally handle it because I thought we were kind of out of the woods. It was like, oh man, we're out of the woods. This is great. We have a predictable channel now. And then last week and then today, it was like, no, we don't. No, we don't. You know? I told Creatures, like, there was a time where I was like, how low are these numbers going to go? It's like every day was a new floor, new floor, new floor. I was like, well, this is our floor. This is our floor. This is our floor. Like, this is the lowest we can expect to hit on a bad day or a mediocre day. And this is the ceiling. This is how high we can expect to go. Well, there was a time there where like the floor kept getting lower and it was like, bro, if this keeps going, we're in bad shape. So part of it is I internally got to a place of like confidence and felt like, man, the channel's really predictable. And last week and today has really like shaken that, not in a worrisome way, just in an irritating way. It's like, this is irritating. Like, you know, if the numbers were mediocre, I wouldn't care. You know what I would say? I'd be like, oh, well, there's not a lot of gaming news. Oh, well, there's nothing we can do about that. But when I have like long-time subs coming in and they're like, bro, I didn't even know you were live, that's when my blood starts to boil. I'm like, what? Like, that's when I get angry. Because that's like doubly out of our control. It's like, I can't control what gaming news breaks. Gotta ride those waves, baby. But when YouTube's like, we don't know, we turned a couple knobs, man, and now your subs don't even know that you're live. It's hard to grin through that. That's hard to grin through. That's hard to take and not get, you know, like, shaken. It's a live environment. Like, it's not like when you record a video and you edit it and you upload it and it doesn't perform well and you're like, ah, frick, on to the next video. No, I have to be in the moment. I have to live through it. I have to experience what's happening. It's like, where is everybody? What's going on? What's happening? This guy just said he didn't know I was live. Like, I have to experience it in real time and not let it throw me off. And it's just tough sometimes to not let it get to me and bother me. I've been doing this a long time, and it still irritates the fire out of me when noties don't go out, or people have no idea that you're live, or someone comes in and is like, I thought you took a week break. It's like, oh my gosh. You know. I may have an idea that you can ride the train of daily news. What's your idea? Major Mischief says, you're the only streamer I follow with support. Have been since the Mars expansion. I have to dig through my subs or search for you to find your stream. Yeah, and some people say the exact opposite. It's so weird. You could use your channel as a follow-up for Spawn Wave? Huh? What are you saying, Danzatastic? I do think maybe we could utilize the community tab a little bit. Maybe like in the morning, I could just ping and say, these are the two things we're talking about today. You know, this is what's, because we don't use the community tab at all. We could definitely do that if that's just one more point of contact. Because people will be like, I didn't know you were streaming, but I saw the thing on the community tab, you know. Be the place someone can talk about the topics he says in the morning. I'm not familiar with what you're talking about, Danzatastic. Spawnwave is a gaming channel. He does a news briefing for game news in the morning. I mean, I don't want to draft off someone else's content. That doesn't sound like something that I would want to do. Something that I've tried to move away from is I don't want to just report the news to you. We try to have a discussion. So with Max Payne, rather than just say, hey guys, they're making a Max Payne remake, it was Max Payne? Why more remakes? Like, and it was, are you guys interested in the remakes? Do you feel this is bad maybe for the industry? Is this indicative of like, you know, them moving away from new games or new IPs or whatever? Like, and so we had a discussion about it. So I use the news as like a catalyst for discussion, right? If that makes sense. So like, I'm not sitting here just saying hot off the presses, you know, because there are plenty of people that do just that. And I've always been of the opinion that like, we can't do that. We have to do significantly more than that, because you can get that anywhere. Community polls and the tab reach non-subs too. Yeah, that's true. That's true. YouTube might be better than Discord announcements. I think the vast majority of YouTube versus a couple of people in Discord listening. Right. We do the announcements in Discord, and it does drive people to the live show, though, as opposed to us listening. Not saying I have thought about it or anything. Reforge Gaming. Halo sucks, and it's all Mo's fault. Oh, you mean branding it more like Reforge Radio? Yeah. Yeah, so that you know, like you're saying, like you wanted to do for a long time, and what we're kind of doing with Reforge Radio is you brand the thumbnail around more around the show, right? For sure. And I feel like our results on Reforge Radio have been fantastic. I have been extremely thrilled with the results over there. The live environment's great. The VODs perform really great. I think the thumbnails look great. I think potentially the Madam thing could drive membership. Like, I'm very pleased with Reforge Radio. You know, like, that's exactly what we wanted to see over there. I blame Hilly for stepping away, douchebag. It really, it's funny, Hilly. Like, as soon as you stepped away, this all happened. I don't know, I think... Yeah, I think it's your fault. Potentially, Madam says, like, as long as I don't suck. No, babe, as in, like, is that going to be something people want? I actually think it is. I think we've already seen that. People are like, oh, man, I'll pay for that. Like, I want to hear what she has to say. Why sucking 343 for 10 years has hurt the franchise? A strange leak hits Nintendo Switch, and a major game reveal surprises online. Newswave. Oh, are you saying go more... yeah. See, the reason we go super generic and basic in our titles is usually that's helpful for when someone's searching for something. When you have like a really big channel, you go more generic and you go more like you create a mystery gap, because what you want is you want your audience to be like, oh, I wonder what they're going to talk about. So creating a mystery gap, there's definitely an art form to doing that, but we're so small we can't necessarily do that. We have to try to get picked up by like people searching or recommendations, and a lot of that comes from using appropriate keywords and titles and stuff. So if you did like let's just say for this morning, Max Payne remake, if I would have titled it like is the industry in trouble ... too many remakes ? And then put Max Payne on the thumbnail, that would have maybe been fine for, like, our audience would have seen that and been like, I wonder what he's going to say. But then YouTube doesn't know what the frick to do with that. That's like, that title doesn't say anything. It's like, it's just a bunch of as far as YouTube's concerned, that title's gibberish. Right? That title is gibberish. One of the reasons that like trailers do so well is trailers have very basic names that are very searchable. That's why trailers do amazing. That's why IGN and all these other places get media privileges to literally just repost the trailer, and then they don't monetize it. Which is exactly what we talked about Friday, oddly. I don't remember what are you referring to, creature? Bonwave has a loyal core audience. His titles can be whatever. Smaller channels need search. That's exactly right. 6 beers and 3 naps later. I don't remember what we talked about. Speaking of remakes, I guess it's not your thing. Any thoughts on Chrono Cross 1? I'm hearing it's another lazy one. Talking about remakes, but tied to Max Payne. Yeah, and that's exactly what we did in the talk show. How was I supposed to title and thumb that, though? I titled and thumbed it related to the most relevant remake news in existence, which was Max Payne. And then our entire discussion centered around remakes, what remakes people wanted to see, what remakes have been really good. Max Payne is what the talk was, but not what the talk was about. Yeah, we didn't spend... Yeah, I thought the talk actually went really well. I thought the talk did great. I felt fine about the talk. I thought it was a good show. It was just clear when I saw the metrics that YouTube once again had hurt us. It was like, what the... And then somebody literally came in and said, bro, I had to search for you today. I was like, here we go again. And it was somebody who's been here like every day. Max Payne Remake is going to be Game of the Year. Just start making really bold claims in the thumbs. Max Payne Remake already flopped. People are like, what? Yeah, Suede, I don't know what the Chrono Cross remake is. I don't even think I've heard of it. I suppose the FF9 rumored remakes could have also been a good discussion. Yeah, maybe. I mean, Kaganeko, this morning, I actually was really interested in how many... It was funny how many remakes I had forgotten about and how many remakes had like not done a very good job. I thought it was a great discussion. Tuning in, we're doing a brainstorming session. We're just talking about how we handle the live environment and how we, select topics. Because like right now we're in kind of a news drought, and when we're in a news drought, like I'm obviously trying to find things that I'm passionate about and can talk about without being like, without forcing it or being like, this is just totally made up. Like saying, oh, Max Payne Remake's going to be Game of the Year. Or, 343, the king of the remake. Like, if I could bottle the debates that we have and somehow put that in the title and thumb, and just every day was a debate about something, I think the show would be amazing. But like, you can't force that. You have to let that happen organically. Like, you have to let Mo come in and say something silly, or let somebody come in and get real opinionated about like Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or whatever. That's when you have these amazing debates. There's not a way to put that on the title and thumb, because I think people would love that. If there was a way to communicate that, like, fight me, right? Such and such game is completely overrated. Fight me. And then everybody comes in that whole day and we just debate up one side, down the other. We know the solution. You just have to let go and do it. What? What's the solution? I do wonder why folks think 343 can't turn Infinite around, seeing as how bad Master Chief Collection was, now they turned it around. Oh, I talked about that this morning, Sven. I said, I think one of the reasons that people are really irritated about sort of the foreboding shadow that's already looming over Season 2, like they're talking about Season 2 and like tempering expectations. I think people thought Season 2 was going to be a significant turnaround point, and it was based on Master Chief Collection. It was like, well, you guys fixed Master Chief Collection. All right, Season 2, what do you got? And they're like, well, we're not even going to have co-op for the campaign at launch. We're not going to have Forge. I think that's added to sort of the negativity. Because it was like, bro, You fix Master Chief Collection. Fix this. Like, I think that's added to the frustration. Screw what's relevant in gaming news. Your opinion is relevant. Talk about what you want to talk about. Tie in something remotely current. Yeah, but I don't know. Fill in the blank and how it. Fill in the blank. Halo sucks. Could there be a prove me wrong type segment? Yeah, like a change my mind. I feel you need to change my mind type of segment. Pick a side on a topic, present it to us, and let us go back and forth on said topic. I'm honestly just done with Halo. Yeah, I think the real challenge there is that only works if I actually think it. Right? Because I think Creature's right. I think there is a huge value and probably a strong click rate of, like, if I literally went live and was like, Halo Infinite is dead, change my mind. Or Game Pass is bad for the industry. Game Pass is for freeloaders. Change my mind. Like, I don't want to necessarily hijack, what is named Crowder. Like, I don't want to hijack change my mind. I like saying fight me. Fight me. I'd prefer to call it the fight me segment. As opposed to change my mind. Because I just feel like we're biting off his style too much. Creatures Right, we're here for you, for your opinion, for your take, not because of whatever topic. No. I understand that, but we still have to feed YouTube something that YouTube knows what the frick to do with it. You are right, Abe, and one of the reasons the show has been so good is we just springboard off of something relevant, and everybody comes in, and we're having this great discussion, and they're like, yo, this is hot. Like, we actually, I think, December, January, February, and March, I have felt like we have really hit a great stride. Yes, Elden Ring was a very focused rut. I wouldn't consider it a rut, but it was a focused sort of, oh, this again. But the dialogue, the turnout, and the way we've gone back and forth, I felt amazing about that. So, like, yes, you are correct. And I can literally debate people 10 hours a day. I can do it. I have the ability. I have the power. I have the technology, right? So, you know, I don't know, what should we have titled today then? Because we didn't have anything. We had Halo Infinite Season 2, we had Metroid Dread, we had friggin' Returnal Game of the Year. And if I turn on and say, Returnal was robbed, fight me, and I basically do what we did for about 30 minutes, which is I argued for the amazingness of Returnal, I guess my concern is that YouTube isn't going to give a single freaking ounce about that. We'll be sitting there. We'd have been just as dead in the water. This morning, you know, Max Payne remake. And then the title would have been like, I'm tired of remakes. Fight me or something. Like, I just don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe we do. Halo Infinite Season 2 means nothing. Fight me. Maybe we just grab the highest thing on the bar, like, well, this is the hottest topic, this is the hottest, you know, this is the hottest thing people might be searching for, and literally just go, fight me. Mm-hmm. What's the caravan today? What are you doing? Well, you're going back, and that's the 4th visit to my closet here. What's going on with this caravan? You're caravanning or something. You're coming down and getting something, coming down and getting something. Did you lose something? Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. And you can't find them. Yes. And you can't find them. Did you... I would move everything in there. They're probably buried in there. There's stuff along that wall, isn't there? I'm not. I was just assuming that maybe it got buried the more you collected. Like, you've put a lot of stuff in that closet. That's all. I just think it might be buried. I've not done anything with it. Drop the fight me, just pose a subject as a question. Title like Halo is dead, I'm right, you are wrong. Just searching for the Jar Jar costume, obviously. Yes, she is. If you guys missed that stream, that was fun, man. That was fun. Become a member and go watch the VOD. That's a beauty of becoming a member, too. Even if you've missed some of those streams, you can always go back and watch them. Like, as a member, if you're a brand new member today, you can go watch the stream with my wife. Like, make sure and check that out. I don't know. I think recurring segments would play better. I'd rather the discussions just be organic. Don't force a split. Right. Like, we're not always going to be able to do that. But, like, how we did, like, From Fridays, we could do something like, kind of like how I had the idea with, like, Throwdown Thursdays. Like, the members only stream in the afternoon should be like an AMA, like, opinion battle. Like, come in and give me your opinion or hot take on something in gaming, and let's fight about it. Let's have a Thursday Throwdown, like that members only stream. So, like, I don't think every day I can be like, fight me. But, you know, if the news is dry, grab something, say something spicy, and just try to get people in here to debate it. You know what I mean? Just obviously I don't think we can do that every day, though. I don't think I want every day the thumbnail saying fight me or change my mind, or, you know, or debate me. you know, or let's debate. Maybe something more inviting, like let's debate. I don't know. Are all members getting a members-only treatment or just gaming? Reforge Radio is getting a members-only treatment, yes. Every Friday afternoon is a Q&A session with my wife. You can submit questions all week long in the event you can't make the stream. As long as you're in a radio stream at all during the week, as a member, you can submit questions, and then her and I sit down on Fridays in a member-only stream and we go through the questions. Yeah, Nikki Merck's talking about cheating. It's a problem. The members only was great, actually discussed without crazy takes. Yeah, but we might get members in there that do that, though. You never know, Eugene. You never know, Eugene. Especially once we get gifted memberships. Get debated. Mr. Glum with a $5 tip. Thank you, sir. Sorry I had to step away for a bit. Lono, I think you should try to focus on your opinions and takes about relevant topics. Not so much the topic itself. If I just wanted the news, I would read headlines. I want to know what you think about those topics. Right, and that's what we've tried to do. Like, it's hard to put an opinion on a thumbnail, so maybe I should start trying there. Like, maybe I should start there first. Start trying to put opinions on the thumbnails and see how that goes. Right? Because Max Payne, why more remakes? That's not an opinion, that's a question. Everything else has been Unreal 5 breakdown, this gameplay breakdown, Radon buffed, Starfield, what is this game? Actually, Starfield did really good, and that was like a question, like, what the frick is this game? And people got really angry and came in, they're like, there's plenty of information about Starfield. I was like, whatever. Hogwarts Legacy gameplay looks weird. That one did really well. That's an opinion on the thumbnail. Rune exploit, don't do this. Too easy. Yeah, Elden Ring Too Easy did really well. It posed a question, right? It posed the question. Elden Ring reviews, I called it. 10,000 views. Okay. Horizon Forbidden West reviews, told you so. That one did really well. Yeah. Horizon Forbidden West reviews said what? That one did well. Lost Ark Pay to Win, Asmongold is wrong. That one didn't do well. Maybe I put too much text on there. I shouldn't have put Pay to Win. I just should have put Lost Ark, Asmongold is wrong. There's too many words on that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing a pattern. I am. When we lean more heavily into like an opinion-laden or question-laden thumbnail, we actually see good results from that. Like, I don't watch much Skill Up, but one thing I do appreciate about his title thumbnail, cuts straight to the point. What if your thumbnail was what Abe suggests, and instead of Max Payne, why more remakes? Max Payne, stop remaking games. Yeah, titles for YouTube, thumb is for users. Yeah. All right. Okay, we got some good food for thought. I'll be honest. We were doing super generic titles and super generic thumbs, and it was working because it was like we were picking super relevant things. And I think January, February, and March, that all that worked because everything was hot. When things aren't hot, we have to get a little bit more creative. We got to dig a little bit deeper and be like, all right, let's, as Creature says, let's brand to the show. You're the show, and just do opinion. So if all else fails, just replace Lono with Hilly. I can see that having some success as well. Yeah, just hand the dadgum channel off. You know? All right, here's the thing. We have been having a great time over on radio, and if you have opinions, questions, or thoughts about Will Smith getting banned from the Oscars for 10 years and and losing movie deals. I want to talk about this. I feel like the guy's getting basically canceled. It's like, huge overreaction. Keep in mind, if you are a member over on Reforge Radio, you can bank your questions early for Friday. So if you've got questions right now about this Will Smith thing and you want Madam to answer it, you can put those questions in the chat today, right? The database, the spreadsheet will hold the questions all week. So all week long, regardless of what we're talking about over there, you can bank those questions for Madam if you're a member. If you're not a member, you can go over there and become a member today. And the vote clearly, 404 votes. That's actually a good turnout on the votes. And mostly people were wanting to hear about Halo. All right. So, all right. This was good feedback, good input. We'll keep doing our thing. We've had, like I said, we've had an amazing 6-month run. It was just all of a sudden we're having some technical issues with YouTube, and it's a good time to reassess what we're doing as well. So I'm gonna put a link in chat. Listen, there's close to 200 people here. If you all came over to radio and helped us start that stream, that's amazing, right? We usually have 200 to 300 people here, and 40 folks go over. Just go over and hang out for 10 minutes. Listen to my intro, okay? I'm going to give you a rundown of everything that happened. Listen to my intro. Basically, the show opens with just me talking, and then I break it down with the audience. So click the link in chat. Come hang with us on Reforge Radio to chop up this cancellation of Will Smith and what we think, what you think. It'll be a good time, all right? Click that link in chat. I'll see you over there.